Was that as bad for you as it was for me?
Yeah.
I've never seen it do that before. That was really weird. Well, that's supposed to be my little intro logo, but I'll have to mess with that later on. But hello and welcome to another episode of Achievement Chasers. It is time for us to talk about what we did in July. And for the first time in a number of months, we both have quite a bit to talk about. And also, for the first time ever, we have a game that we both played at the same time and we'll both be able to talk about.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's a good month. I got a lot done, but in the first half I played, as I mentioned, because we did our last episode was kind of far into July, about June. And I had already said that like I had done more in the first like week or two of July than I had done in the entire previous month. Although I didn't do much else on Xbox for the rest of the month because most of the rest of what I was doing was due to retro achievements. So,
just as a little teaser.
all right, yeah.
I actually use this controller on my computer.
Is that a USB GameCube controller?
No, it is an original GameCube controller for the GameCube that I had when I was using the GameCube. I just got a dongle to be able to plug it into my computer.
Okay, I guess I shouldn't be surprised, but I did not realize that was a thing. But that is pretty cool.
It was even the dongle I even have is from 8-Bit Do.
Oh, okay. Nice. But yeah, we will both be talking about some GameCube because, as we were both mentioning quite a lot, the GameCube got support on retro achievements. So now people are putting achievements into GameCube games. So I've been playing quite a bit of GameCube, both at the second half of the month of July and basically up to, through the first week of August. And I'm planning on still playing a bunch more. But I'll go ahead and start off with the beginning. So other than retro achievements, do you have other stuff to talk about as well?
Well, everything I've done has been retro achievements, but
okay,
2 games are not GameCube related. So
okay, well, I'll go ahead and start off with what I alluded to last month. Is I was doing quite a bit of Xbox at the beginning of the month, and because there was as I often say that I don't really start games unless they are leaving Game Pass because I'm backlogging them for when I do my big bean dive. But there was a bunch of games that were leaving Game Pass, so I had to panic play them. So I played through like 4 games. Well, it was going to be 4 games, but then I dropped a game. But then another game was leaving Game Pass at the end of the month, so it got added. So it ended up being 4 games anyways. I think the first one that I did, and it was probably the one that I enjoyed the most. It's called Toem, Toem, and it's, if you're familiar with the Metroidvania Sheepo, which is technically the very first video I have on my channel because I did a speed run of it and showed how to do an exploit and beat the game in 10 minutes. It has a very similar art style to that. It's not from the same developer or anything, but if you were to take that kind of art style and where the characters are 2D, but you move around in a 3D space, it's kind of got an isometric view, and it's a little like a photography adventure. All your quests are getting pictures of certain creatures or certain things or whatever. And it was very cute. I quite enjoyed it. It was like a 6 to 8 hour completion, so it was pretty quick. And so I knocked that one out in a day or two.
Hey, since you're talking about pictures, I might as well talk about this one real quick because I only needed 1 achievement left. I only had like 1 achievement left. And I was waiting for GameCube to get dropped, so I was like, you know what, Ev it, I'm gonna go try and get that last achievement, and it was in Pokemon Snap.
Okay, so you were playing some Pokemon Snap, huh?
Yeah, because I had one last achievement left because I had tried getting this achievement a while ago and I just couldn't get it, so I just kind of left it there. The achievement was getting a perfect score on Mew, and that one actually is more trouble than it's worth.
So I know that the game exists. I've never played it. How exactly? What does a score, getting a perfect score, entail?
Pretty much, you have to have the Pokemon and taking up most of the frame, most of the picture, and actually be entirely in the picture, and then doing a pose.
Okay.
Luckily from you, it's only one specific pose, but that it can do for you. But getting it in the perfect point in the picture is really difficult, and it also doesn't help that you have to pick out one of the pictures to hopefully that be the one that actually ends up being the perfect one. Because if you end up picking the wrong one, then and you had a perfect score on another one, it's like, damn, I should have picked the other one.
Yeah. Okay.
Because he doesn't just score all of them together for you. You have to pick that one.
Gotcha. Okay. So, is that one that you played on N64 back in the day, and this is a replay, or is this the first time?
I did it a while. I did play as a rental.
Okay.
I've bought it since then. But and I even use an N64 controller because but that one's a third party. That one's a third party that uses a more modern stick, so it doesn't feel the same.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. So, well, technically, I think I did play Pokemon Snap once in like a Blockbuster demo station for like 5 minutes, but I don't really count that. So,
hey, you used to be able to print out your pictures at kiosks or at like Toys R Us or even Blockbuster, I think.
The closest thing I had to that is I did have the Game Boy camera, but I never had the Game Boy printer, so I could take both pictures with it, but I could never print them.
Apparently, the Kickstream platform.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, they're doing challenge type things, and they did a challenge. They challenged someone to the first person to stream from a Game Boy camera would get a monetary prize.
So to figure out how to jury rig a Game Boy camera into a live stream.
Yeah,
that's pretty great. So, yeah, that's I think that's the first one I played, and I completed that. Another one that was leaving Game Pass, and I have the first one due to Games with Gold, but because Games with Gold no longer is a thing. I mean, Xbox Live Gold isn't even a thing anymore. That we don't get those games anymore. But was Coffee Talk Part 2, the second one or whatever. It's basically a visual novel. The first one I did actually read through the game, on the stories from all the characters and stuff, because I wasn't in a rush to beat it before it left Game Pass, because it was on Game Pass as well, but I had it through Games with Gold. But this one, since it was Games with Gold, or this one is Game Pass, so I had 3 other games that I was planning to go through. I just speed run it, so I literally have almost no idea what was going on in the game.
Yeah, let's just say if it wasn't for GameCube support getting added to Retro Achievements, I probably would have gone through a couple of Vita visual novels. But after the two games that took me so long to complete, I wanted to get some easy completions. Then GameCube support came out, so I was like, guess I'm going there.
Yep, redirected. So had it not been leaving Game Pass, I would have read through the stories, but I was in a hurry. Or if it was the only one that was leaving, I didn't have to worry about rushing through the others. Yeah. I would have read through it, but because I had other games that I had to get through, I basically bum rushed it and didn't read almost any of it. And then the next one is the one that was my least favorite, and it was actually the second one that was leaving Game Pass, but not the first one. And so there's a pair of games that, well, at this point now were on Game Pass, and that's Figment 1 and 2. Figment 2 was leaving Game Pass, but Figment 1 joined Game Pass later, so it's not leaving yet. But I wasn't going to play Figment 2 without playing Figment 1. So I played Figment 1, and I did not enjoy that game or care for it, like, at all. And so I didn't bother even playing Figment 2. So Figment 1 is still on Game Pass if you wanted to play it. But Figment 2 is now gone, and I was like, I did not enjoy that game. I'm not going to play the second one. Because the reason why I played it was also because it was a short completion, like 6 to 8 hours. And there's some glitchy achievements. So, and there's no sprint, and your movement speed is really slow. And I had to go and make a half of playthrough in order to fix that one glitched achievement. So I did not care for that game, and didn't even move on to play the second one. And then the last one, this one didn't leave.
I love glitch achievements.
Yeah.
Aren't you glad I told you about the bounty hunter story?
Oh, yeah. I'll ask you about that later.
Espar doing it again. They constantly break that achievement on Xbox. I mean, how many times does it have to happen before they finally realize, wait, this is probably going to happen again?
Yeah. But yeah, so all of those games were leaving in the first half of the month, so around July 15th, 16th. Then a couple days later, they announced at the end of the month another basically visual novel called Venba, and it's a story of and that one's really short. It's like a 2-hour completion. I spread it out over the course of those 2 weeks to keep my achievement streak alive while I was playing other stuff, which I'll get to later. But it's a story about two Indian people, like from India, not Native American, who live in Canada and are having troubles, with work and wanting to move back home to India, and their son growing up in not Indian culture, and it's basically story bits like that broken up with sections of cooking authentic Indian food from India, and so it's basically a visual novel cooking game, and so played through that.
Sounds
one
like some of those
end of the month.
Browser games that my mom plays online.
Could be. I don't know that I've ever really actually played any browser games. Maybe for a short period of time, like way back when they were brand new. But that was everything that I basically panic played before it left Game Pass. And I do have one other game that I played, but I'll get to that in a little bit. I'll let you start off with some of your stuff.
Gotcha. I'll go ahead and go with my last game before the GameCube surge.
Yes.
And this was the last game I streamed before GameCube came out, and I did talk about it last week, but I didn't finish it up. So Donkey Kong Country 3.
Okay.
Went ahead and finished it up.
Yeah, you burned through and mastered that in no time. It was like wasn't
even that difficult, really.
How many streams did you spend on that?
3 or 4.
Oh, I thought it was less than that.
But the last one the only reason why it took me so long is because I'd never played the game through on toughest difficulty.
Okay.
And that's the one where they remove all of the halfway barrels and all the DK barrels. So you really have to go through with only being able to get hit once.
Yeah. So
and then some of those bonus barrels, you need both Kongs. So
right. So yeah, when I get back to doing, because I'm going to be, when it comes to retro achievement hunting, I'm going to be doing GameCube for a while. But when I go back to Super Nintendo, the Donkey Kong Country trilogy is going to be on there because those are my favorite platformers that are not action platformers.
I did the original set. I did do the original set for Donkey Kong Country 1. So
that's right.
A lot of the added achievements were done after they changed the way that they did sets, because whenever I did it, we were trying to make it so every achievement set would go to a certain point value, kind of like what Xbox did.
Oh, where like each game is worth 1,000 or something like that.
We did a 400 points.
Gotcha.
Per game. And like a year or two after I'd left, they changed that structure. And now they have games that are worth 2,000. Some that are only worth like 50.
Yeah. One of the collections that's on GameCube that I'm planning on playing is worth like 4,000, or maybe that
Mega Man X collection.
Yeah, it's a Mega Man X collection. I think it's 4,000, or maybe that's because they've got like their base value, and then they got like their true achievement score value. I haven't gotten used to the terminology on what they're called, but I'm pretty sure the 4,000 is actually the base score and not like the true achievement score.
I'd have to look. Let me look.
If you want to pull that up,
the website open.
But yeah, so like my favorite platformers is the action platformers of the Mega Man X trilogy, but my favorite like non-action platformers are the Donkey Kong Country games. So I'm definitely gonna be playing through all 3 of those on
it's got 4,000 points.
4,000.
Mega Man X collection.
So I'm gonna be doing that at some point.
I don't care much about points. I care more about masteries.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll be mastering it, but I will be playing it.
Yeah, but the main reason I'm going for masteries real fast right now is because of the event going on.
Yeah, so we'll get into that in a little bit.
Let's just say a couple of the games I played so far have been because of it being the event and me trying to get quick completions.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, but yeah, I'll be doing the whole DKC trilogy eventually when I get back to Super Nintendo games, as well as Super Metroid. It's been forever since I've played that. I'll be playing.
You should definitely play the GBA versions of Donkey Kong Countries as well, because they do add a little bit. I think a couple of them add. I think 1 or 2 of them. They add like 1 or 2 levels maybe, but I know GBA, it adds a bunch of collectibles, and it also adds a new score attack mode.
Okay.
And after I had made the set for GBA, a little while later, that someone came in and made achievements for the score attack mode. I need to go back and eventually go through that.
Oh, it's another one you need to get the remastery of.
Yeah.
So,
but they're definitely fun remakes.
On DKC 3, because I remember when that, like I've said multiple times, that's the only one I actually owned, like the physical copy. I did rent/borrow the first two. I do own DKC 1 and 2 on Virtual Console on my Wii, but I don't have the physical copy of them. But I do have the DKC 3 physical copy. And I remember getting 103% back when I was a kid, and that was for literally doing everything. But apparently there was an achievement for 105%.
Yeah, and that's where you have to be on the toughest difficulty, where you can't get any, where you don't have any of the DK barrels or halfway barrels.
So it's the same thing of completing literally everything just on the harder.
Some of those challenge achievements are actually easier to do when you don't have the barrels in the way.
That's right, because otherwise, if you get the barrel, then you have to quit the level and restart. But if
if you quit the level, you restart it, come back in, it'll actually take you back to the halfway barrel. So you didn't have to go and beat the level again, so you can actually get restarted.
I did not realize that, because it's been so long since I played it. I literally haven't played them since I was a kid.
So it's easier just to not have to worry about the barrel.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. So, but yeah, you have to do. It's basically the same. We have to do literally everything in the game just on the harder difficulty to get to 105%. Yeah.
And it's not that much harder if you play the game enough.
Yeah.
Unlike Crag.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't looked at the DKC 1, 2, or 3 achievements in a while, so I don't know if I'll be going for the mastery.
They do have speedrun achievements, but 3 is easily the easiest speedrun achievement because they give you 2 in-game hours.
Okay.
And I beat it in let me look at that, because it has been a while since I looked at that, but I know I beat it pretty quickly.
So I'll definitely be playing those, and to a pretty high completion percentage. I just don't know if I'll go for the mastery. I'll have to take a look at the achievements sometime.
I mean, it did help that I played through on toughest, and then because of that, I gotten really good at dodging everything. But let me look at the 80% speed run. I ended up doing an hour and 10 minutes, so I still had 50 minutes. I still had 50 minutes left over.
And the speed run isn't. I mean, I guess
you don't have to do it in one run because you can actually use saves.
Right, but the speedrun doesn't have to be on the tougher difficulty either, right?
No. Just the regular difficulty.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, one thing that I put in a forum post for a site improvement is on the want to play page. All the games have the platform they're under listed directly under the name instead of it being a column, so you can't organize your games by platform on the want to play page.
Oh, I don't even have any game on my want to play, so
but yeah, I use that page, so I can't just filter it and show me all the games on Super Nintendo that I want to play. They're just listed alphabetically, or you can arrange the other columns that they do have, but there is no one for platform, so that'd be a really nice nice change.
You got to remember it is user made, so you also have to remember the server side costs are probably way more for what they try to do.
That's a good point.
Microsoft
I did not think about that.
All of them. You got to remember that, because remember they had to shut down the site itself during the launch of the GameCube so that people could still get achievements, because people kept refreshing the page over and over again, and pretty much it created a mass DDoS attack.
Yeah. Yeah, the page was down for a while. Oh yeah, one of the other Super Nintendo games I'm going to go back to playing, because I had it as a kid. I don't remember if I ever actually beat it, but was Plock, which I'm pretty sure you're familiar with Plock, but it's a very obscure
heard of it. I've never played it.
Okay, but you've heard of it. Most people probably never even heard of it because it's pretty obscure. So,
I think there was a Nitro Rad video on it.
And so yeah, I'm going to play Plock. I'm going to play the Super Star Wars games, because I own Empire. And similarly with Super Star Wars and Super Return of the Jedi, I borrowed / rented them. I never owned them, but I did own Empire.
Aren't all 3 supported on retro achievements?
Yes, they are. So I'm going to be playing those at some point as well. And thanks, this is sort of, I mean, same generation, but not really. It wasn't ever a game that was on Super Nintendo. But I will be playing, thanks to you. I was going to play it anyways, but I didn't know it had a retro achievement set until last month, is the Mega Man X3 Project Zero, which makes Zero playable through the whole game. I now know that it has an achievement set, and I figured out how to get that to work. So I booted it up, and it shows that it's on my... I haven't gotten any achievements in it yet, because I don't want to get achievements in any of the games until I'm ready to play them. But I did launch it and it showed up and said, in the top left, you have 0 out of whatever achievement. So I got it working, and I'm going to be doing that at some point as well.
I think the only hack I'll look into is probably Smash 64 Remix.
So maybe, so that, before we get completely sidetracked to retro achievements, because we'll probably be spending the rest of the episode talking about retro achievements. Is there anything that you want to talk about before we switch gears to retro achievements? I have one more thing that I want to talk about.
Well, technically, I've been on retro achievements the entire time because that's all I played this month.
Okay, so before we completely go over to retro achievements for the rest of the episode, the one other game that I played, and I wasn't even planning on it, and it was, that's why I did it, is because on True Achievements there was an event in July called Boss Rush, and there was I think it was 10 bosses, and each one had I think they increased by 1,000 hit points each one. So the boss 1 had 1,000 hit points and boss 10 had 10,000 hit points, and each boss had a strength and a weakness, and their strength would cause, and the way you dealt damage to them is by getting achievements, and the true achievement score, however much true achievement score that achievement was worth, would take that much HP off the boss's health. However, their strength would reduce the effectiveness of, if let's say, I don't remember what they are, and I don't want to go look it up, but let's say, just making this up off the top of my head.
Solo play versus multiplayer play.
So let's say one boss had a strength to true achievement values that ended in 6, and that meant any true achievement value that any true achievement you got that ended in 6 was worth less than what the actual true achievement value was. Sometimes it was like half. So if it was a 66 point achievement, it would be worth 33. Or there were some that were less than that. Like one of them was like, it deals 6 less damage. So if it was like 186, it was only worth 180, but still you're doing most of that damage. Whereas if you did whatever their weakness was, so that same boss, his weakness was to true achievements that ended in 3. And anytime you did a true achievement that ended in the value of 3, you got an additional 93 points on top of it. So you could spam a bunch of low TA achievements that ended in 3 and have them all be worth a whole bunch. But that was the 4th boss, and you had to beat the first 4 bosses in order to get credit for participating. And so it was getting to the end of the month, and I was about halfway through boss 4's health bar, just playing naturally, because if any true achievement score you get that's not worth their that doesn't apply to their weakness or their strength, just applies naturally. So if you got a 200 TA achievement, it does 200 damage, but you get bonuses or weaknesses depending on if you hit them with whatever their strength or weakness was. And so I still had actually, I think it was the 4th boss, and so he had 4,000 hit points, and I think I was still like 3,000. And so I was planning out, because I wanted to get the 4th boss taken out in order to get credit for participating.
If I had been doing that last achievement on Devil May Cry 5, it would have been worth almost 2,000 points.
That was one thing that some of the hardcore people were doing, is they were trying to knock out as many bosses as they could in a single achievement, which is props to them. But I still had about 3,000 hit points left. And there was only a couple days left. And so I was like, what's something that I can play through and will take out, the rest of his health bar pretty easily. So because I'm not trying not to start any new games, all the games that I've played have pretty high completion rate. So I don't have a lot of achievements to choose from. So I was like, all right, let's go pick a game I haven't started that I could probably play through really quickly. And so I picked one of my favorite Metroidvanias. It was on my list of top 5 on episode 1 of top 5. And that's Journey to the Savage Planet. I do own this because there's now 3 stacks of it. There was the original Xbox One stack, which was on Game Pass, but it left a couple of years ago. And that's when I played it, and that's when I fell in love with it. It has since gotten an Xbox One stack called the Journey to the Employee of the Month edition. And it just recently got a Windows stack as well, like a couple weeks ago when it joined the Employee of the Month edition, joined Game Pass. So it is now back on Game Pass. But it's series only if you're playing the series version, but it does have cloud streaming, so you could cloud stream it to an older Xbox. But the Windows version also got added, so you could play either one. But I started Journey to the Savage Planet because it had a bunch of quick achievements that all ended in 3. And because I love the game, I ended up playing through the whole game again, knocking it out in like a day or two. The only achievement I don't have right now, I think I have 2 achievements left, and that is for beating the game in co-op, which I've done on the original version because I did get the completion a couple years ago. So, and I've got my buddy Icefire, who was on the top 5 Metroidvanias Part 2. We're going to go and knock that out at some point. And there's also an achievement for beating the first boss in co-op. So beating those 2 will give me the last 2 achievements to get that completion. But I love that game. And the few, it's got a high ratio because not a lot of people have played through it yet. So I was able to use the first like quarter of the achievements in that game, and that got me the rest of the health bar on boss number 4. And it moved on to boss number 5, and I wasn't planning on doing boss number 5, but boss number 5's weakness lined up perfectly with Journey to the Savage Planet, because boss number 5's weakness was to co-op achievements. And this entire game can be played in co-op, so every single achievement in this game counted towards that weakness. And his weakness did like triple damage. So any co-op achievement you got did 3 times as much damage.
Master Chief Collection would have been pretty good too.
Master Chief Collection would have been perfect as well if I didn't have most of these. Some of the achievements, that we got did count towards that, but because in the 2 streams we've done, I think I've only gotten 3 achievements because I already had almost all of them in ODST and Halo 3 already. When we do, assuming we do Reach on Sunday, I should be able to get a bunch of achievements because I don't have almost any of the par scores on Reach. But
gotcha.
Because his weakness, just so the 5th boss's weakness just perfectly lined up with Journey to Savage Planet, I was planning on playing through it anyways because I love that game. And I knocked that one out super fast, just coincidentally. So I ended up beating the first 5 out of the 10 bosses. And yeah, that wraps up about everything I did on Xbox for the month of July. So I always love to shout out Journey to Savage Planet. It is on Game Pass. If you the Xbox One version is no longer in Game Pass, but if you have it, I'm happy to play the co-op in that one, or now the Employee of the Month edition, because I wasn't planning on starting that, but I did, and so now I'm happy to help anyone out in the co-op with that one because I love the game. So if it's a first-person shooter Metroidvania with a lot of comedy and heart, it's very colorful and bright. It's the closest thing we've gotten to a Metroid Prime game since Metroid Prime 3, and I love this game, so I'm happy to play the co-op with anyone. So let me know if anyone out there wants to play it. I'll be happy to help. And we got a couple of friendly faces in chat. Someone who's going to be on this channel.
Are you sure
in a couple
one's
hours. Friendly? Yeah, he's iffy. But Nerdporial Life
next comment.
What's up? Let's see what's his next comment. Nerdy Neo hates Metroidvanias and video games in general. So what's up, Nerdporial? He's going to be on in just a couple hours, and we're going to be having an open mic, just talking whatever. And my good buddy Vanquish is here saying, "What's up, Chasers? What's up, Vanquish? Good to see you, buddy." So, but yeah. I love Journey to the Savage Planet, so I'm happy to play that and co-op with anyone if anyone wants to. So, but yeah, that about wraps up everything I did on Xbox. So now we can completely shift gears to what both of us have been spending basically all of our gaming time in the last half of the month, and into August, is retro achievements, more specifically GameCube, because GameCube got added to retro achievements, and it has basically, because I wasn't expecting, we knew it was going to be happening this year. I don't know about you, but I didn't figure it was going to happen until end of the year. And then
I was expecting fall.
You were expecting fall. Okay. And
like
then
with what happened with PS2.
How much time did we get warning that, hey, it's coming out on this day? It was like
a couple weeks,
maybe 2 weeks. It's like, oh my God, it's happening. It's happening.
And the way they did it was pretty awesome because they just posted a thing in their Discord saying, and it was like the Melee notification whenever you got a new trophy, and just said GameCube, and then it said the date.
Yeah, that's right. The Smash Bros. Trophy notification. So it was like that meme or the GIF that often gets used from The Office, where Michael Scott's like, "It's happening, it's happening." They gave us like a 2-week warning that GameCube was coming on. What was it, July 15th? I think it was.
And even with all that, they still got this website DDoSed.
Yeah,
because everyone was refreshing the page. Because for the longest time, GameCube win has been such a meme at retro achievements that
Okay.
they put in a chat bot answer to say it's ready when it's ready or something like that.
Oh, in their Discord.
Yeah.
So yeah, they gave us like a 2-week warning saying, "Hey, GameCube is coming." I think it was on the 15th, and on the 15th, the site crashed because so many people were trying to get on,
and because of that, they turned off the site so that people could actually go get achievements.
Yeah, so
it doesn't
the
affect
first
the server.
like half of the day, you could play a game and get achievements, but you couldn't go on retro achievements to see them other than in game. So that derailed.
But it still counted. It still
Yes,
counted.
exactly.
It
still counted. You just couldn't go on the website to see them. So that derailed my plans for what I was planning on doing for the rest of July. So I have now played and beaten. I haven't gotten any masteries yet, but I'm this close on one of them, and I'm pretty close on another. But I've so far played 3 GameCube games for retro achievements.
I played 6.
And you played 6. So since you've got more, we're going to save the one we both played to the end.
Yeah.
But go ahead and lead us off with what you've been. Oh, before we do, we got one other friend here, Christian Frades. What's up, Christian Frades? Good afternoon. Good to see you, buddy. Hope you're enjoying it. So, what have you been doing with GameCube retro achievements?
My first game, I decided to go with Pikmin.
Pikmin, that's right. So, had you played Pikmin? Because I've never.
I did play Pikmin a really long time ago. I think I rented. It was another rental one, and I ended up beating it within that rental. I never really thought about it again until Pikmin 3.
It never looked interesting to me, so I've had zero interest in playing Pikmin.
It's actually a really fun. It's actually an interesting RTS game because
I was gonna say, what genre is it technically?
It's closest to RTS.
Closest to RTS. That's what I've heard.
But it's actually a really good one, and I'd say the hardest achievements were the challenge mode achievements and the getting the perfect ending within 12 days.
Okay. And yeah, you got the mastery on that already, right? That was your first GameCube mastery?
And so pretty much what I did was I just decided, since I know it's a quick game, I went ahead and just played it naturally on my own. And I ended up beating it within like 15 or 16 days without really thinking about it too much.
In-game days, right?
Yeah, in-game days. So, and each in-game day is about 13 minutes.
Okay.
So, so after that, I decided, okay.
Before we get too far into it, just for anyone who isn't retro achievement hunters like us, a mastery means you got all the achievements in the game, and there is a bounty with the launch of the GameCube into retro achievements that you can get points. For every game that you beat the story, you get a point, but every game you master, you get 2 points. And you get a bronze medal for 10 points, you get a silver medal for 20 points, and a gold medal for 30 points. And some games that either are longer or more difficult have an additional where they're worth 2 or even 3 times points.
Yep.
So like a 3 times point game, you get 3 points for beating it, and you get 6 points, not 3 and 6, but you go from 3 to 6 points, so 6 points total if you mastered it. And there's a 4-month time window on that. So until
currently, I already have 9 points.
You have 9 points already, and so that runs until sometime in November. So
yeah,
it's a
nice it's a 4-month period.
4-month period. So they're doing a nice little launch event.
Yeah,
and so
for the PS2 event, they didn't have the beat feature, so you only had masteries back then, and they asked you to get 15 masteries.
Gotcha. So if we're talking about points,
I ended up getting the gold for that as well.
That's what we're talking about. So I'm just planning on getting 10 points and getting the bronze medal. I might be able to do the silver. We'll see. But I know you're going for the gold, and that's why you're doing a bunch of the quick games right off the bat. So Pikmin is a relatively short completion. How long would you say it took you to get the mastery?
The mastery, it took me a while because one of the challenges actually was pretty difficult, even though they lowered the point value, the points that are required. Because the challenge mode, the entire purpose is to try and grow as many Pikmin in a single day on each of the levels, and the levels are redesigned in a way for you to go do it. Level 1 and 3 are more about grabbing as many of the pellets as on the stage as quickly as possible. There's not much combat in those levels. 2 and 4 is more about the combat.
Okay.
And the easiest way, but 4 was the one that took me the longest to end up getting. And what's crazy is that it was asking for the most points out of any of the challenges. But the perfect score for getting everything and no Pikmin dying is like 780 something points. but they were only asking for 450.
Okay.
And even then, it was still taking me a really long time to get it. It took me like about a week of trying over and over again to finally get it.
Wow. So, and
it was the only one that gave me that much trouble.
Originally, it was like 700, almost double.
Yeah.
That'd be nuts. So
that was the only one that actually gave me trouble, because even the beating the game in 12 days, if you can get you pretty much can beat the first area in 2 days, and then three of the then there's three areas where you can do about 3 days each, and then the final area you can do in one. Well, if you end up doing one of those areas where you're supposed to do in 3 days, but you only do it in 2 days, you get an extra day on any of the other ones. So
that makes sense.
I ended up keep on restarting the second day over and over again to get all the parts that I could in that the second area, and so that way I only had to do it for 2 days.
Okay.
So I ended up getting that one in 2 days and doing the third area in 3. Can't remember for the fourth area I ended up doing in 3 or 4. But
so other than the what is it, like a speed run or a time attack challenge mode? So other than those challenge modes, like how much time would you say you spent on versus the entire rest of the achievement set? Would you say
for just to beat the game, I probably did in like a few hours.
Okay.
So it's not a long game.
But what I meant was like getting all of the achievements except for that like challenge mode achievement. Would you say like that was, since that one took you quite a bit of time?
Even the 12-day didn't take me that long, because I looked up someone who did a no Pikmin death challenge, and he ended up doing it in 11 days. So I just kind of tried to mimic what he was doing a bit, but I didn't mind if a Pikmin or 2 died, as like he would.
Right.
So the thing is though, Pikmin 2 does have an achievement for doing a no death run, and I'm like iffy on that.
Well, I guess to say it a little bit better is like, would you say you spent like 25% of the entire time of mastery on like just that challenge mode, or would you say it was
I would
like
say 50%?
Okay, so you were able to do everything else in the game, but that only was like 50% of the time you spent on the game, and then the rest of the 50% was just on the challenge mode.
Yeah, because the challenge mode did take most of them took me a few tries, but I got them within like five attempts, so it wasn't that crazy. But that fourth one was a pain.
Gotcha.
So,
and Nerdporial seems to have played Pikmin. He says it's solid. Game is brutal, and it's cute and effed up.
Well, I mean, in the second one, you have poison Pikmin. The whole point of the poison Pikmin is to throw them into the mouths of enemies, and it poisons them.
Sacrifice them. I guess that's probably what you do with all your Pikmin at some point.
You're not supposed to.
Okay.
But the yellow Pikmin, they can pick up bomb rocks, and they can throw them at enemies.
Okay. Yeah,
so you can use them to sacrifice as well.
My only experience with Pikmin is Olimar in Smash,
which is a perfect segue to the next game I'm going to talk about. I'll talk about the 2 quick games next after you talk about a game or 2. But I'll talk about Smash Bros. Melee.
Okay. So since I've only got 3 to talk about, and you've got 6, why don't you do 2? I'll do 1.
That's what I was going to talk about Melee next, because that was a perfect segue, because you were talking about Olimar Smash. But pretty much, even though it looks intimidating with all 300 achievements in it, over half
Yeah, so Pikmin only had like what, 45 achievements?
Like 30.
30, so not a lot. Smash Bros has like over 300, so yeah, it's got a lot. And I've got mine here as well. I am definitely going to be playing this, but I'm waiting to play more stuff first to get my completion percentage up a bit. So when I start this, it doesn't just tank it, because it has more achievements in this one game than the amount of achievements I've even earned so far. So it's going to drop me from like 90% down to like 40.
At the very least, most of it you're gonna be getting it over time, so it's not like.
And a lot of it you can get pretty quickly. I mean, you've already got like half the achievements already, don't you?
Yeah, I've got like 100. Sorry, it's on the other screen. I might want to pull it over to the screen. I've got 199 out of 336.
336. So yeah, it's got a lot of achievements.
But you got to remember about 150 of them are just going through the campaign.
Yeah,
through the single player modes.
There's classic mode, there's adventure mode, and there's all-star mode, and beating each of those with each character has an achievement, so that's a lot of achievements right there.
Yeah, there's an achievement for beating classic mode with the character on normal or higher. There's an achievement for being on a hard with 2 stocks.
So if you do that, you'll get both of the
You get both of them. And then, of course, there's adventure mode and then adventure mode on hard with 2 stocks. And you can use continues on these, so it's not that brutal.
Yeah, so
especially with Mewtwo, it's terrible. But then All-Star mode, you have to do it on normal, and then All-Star mode normal with no continues.
Okay. So yeah, if you do that with each character,
that's already like 6. Hard, that's already 6 per character, and there's 25 characters.
Exactly. So that,
and then there's a seventh achievement for getting all 3 of their trophies.
Right.
So that's 7 achievements per character for 25 characters. That's
yeah.
Well, 5 is 150. So that means it's 100.
So if you do hard with 2
that's
stocks,
200 achievements right there
on each game mode, you'll get a lot of the achievements right there. So
and most of the other achievements are tied to in-game trophies. A couple of them are like special things you can do against the AI in versus mode, but stuff like play tiny mode with Donkey Kong and DK, not Donkey Kong and Bowser.
Yeah,
and a free for all or something like that.
Yeah,
and another one's like Kirby versus Jigglypuff is in Giant Melee.
Probably the worst one is just you have to play 1,000 versus matches, so you just got to play like.
That's actually an in-game trophy, so they couldn't go around it.
That I remember looking at the achievements. I'm like, why would you do this? It's because there was an in-game trophy for it, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
luckily they didn't put one for 1,000,000 versus mode because there is an in-game message for that.
That's right. I've seen. I never got that, but I have seen it online.
Even they were like, yeah, it doesn't even have a trophy associated with it. It just has a message. At the best, it would probably be in a bonus set later.
A bonus set, yeah. So I'm definitely planning on playing Melee pretty soon because I'm going to get into that at the end. On
just realize there are 3 kind of brutal achievements, and it's beating
what do you
beating
think
each
are
of
the worst?
It's beating each of the single player modes with on very hard, and the one for classic is with 1 life, no continues.
1 life.
I ended up getting with Ganondorf. Adventure mode is just very hard, no continuing, so you can do 5 lives in that one.
Okay.
Which is a godsend because the Pokemon section is a pain in the ass. And then All-Star mode is the one that everyone's kind of complaining about.
Yeah,
because it's very hard.
I've been looking through the comments on the achievement set, and I've been seeing a lot of people.
I think that's the only one that people really, really don't want. But
what exactly is the requirement for that one?
Beating it on very hard with no continuing.
With no continues. Oh my goodness.
All-Star mode.
Yeah, so
everyone kind of suggests use Marth and trying to get Tipper or Ford smashes.
So because I'm playing all the games that I'm starting with are ones that I owned or I own, and so I haven't booted up any of my GameCube games in 10, 15
you can
years, probably.
You can actually rip these discs yourself by using an action replay.
I don't know what that is, but I know that you can do it because
it's like
I know
a Game Shark.
That's what you do.
It's like a Game Shark.
Okay. But so I booted them up to check like my stats and to see, because I was like, I know you can't do this because that would be considered cheating, but it'd be really cool if I could just take my save data from this game that I've actually played, and I have the save data, and I did it all legit, load it into retro achievements, and have all the achievements unlock retroactively. Obviously, you can't do that because that would be considered cheating. You got to redo it. But I booted up Smash Brothers Melee and went and looked at my stats and stuff. I have all the trophies. If I was to be able to upload my save and retroactively unlock all the achievements, I'd probably have 90% of them right off the bat. So,
well, you wouldn't have any of the beating the single player modes because those unlock when you complete the mode. Because you just having the trophy, you could have either gotten it through versus mode or you could have done it on very easy.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Because I ended up getting the Falco trophy for All-Star mode while trying to get the 700 matches to unlock Mewtwo.
Okay. So, but yeah, I'd have a lot of them because I played a lot of Melee back in the day, but I'm looking forward to playing it.
Who hasn't?
So, but yeah, like I said, it'll be soon. I'm going to get into that in a little bit because I have an idea, and I'm going to pitch it to you at the end. And it'd be cool if you joined me. It's no worries if not, but I think it'd be something fun to do. So, yeah. Anything else you wanted to say about Melee?
Nothing really. Just I'm a big Gandorf main.
Yeah.
This was technically his best ranking in the tier list for competitive.
Exactly what I was just going to ask, because I think Melee, he was the best he's ever been, right?
Yeah, people argue whether or not he could actually win a major, but everyone I think agrees he's at least the gatekeeper for characters being let in to being able to beat a major.
So when you say beat a major, what does that mean?
A major tournament.
Oh, okay.
You know, like your Evo or your Smash Con.
Yeah. Okay. So
where all the big names come.
All right. So the first game I started off with, I'm going to save to last because it's the one that we both played. But so I'm going to start off.
I have 3 copies of it. And I'll show off all 3 copies whenever we get to it.
So I'm going to start off with the second game I started, and this was on my top 5. When we did top 5 Star Wars games, I think this was number 2. And for once, I can actually show the games physically because I have them in hand. Star Wars Rogue Squadron 2 Rogue Leader.
I'm glad I'm starting a trend.
Yeah, because most of the games I play are all digital or are packed up, and I don't know where they are. Or they're packed away. So I keep a few of them, my favorites, up here on the shelf. And so all the ones that we're going to be talking about today were easy to grab off this shelf. But Rogue Leader, this was the second GameCube game I started with. And it had a little bit of an interesting story on, do you know anything about this game when it comes to the achievement set and this game running on Dolphin?
I do not.
Okay. So apparently this game runs terribly on Dolphin by the default settings. So you have to go into the settings and turn some stuff off. Otherwise, it's going to crash on you like every time after a few minutes of playing. And so I booted it up. I was playing it. I'm like, this game, like the first game I played ran butter smooth. I boot this up and it's running horribly. The frame rate is terrible. It looks like crap. I was like, what is the deal with this? So I go and look into the comments and people are talking about, yeah, it runs terrible on Dolphin, so you need to change some settings in order to get it to run correctly. So if anyone is interested in playing this on Dolphin, there's 2 things you want to do. One of them is the primary thing you want to do, and it is, let me tell you right now, there's by default, is it in configuration? Yes. So by default, if you go on Dolphin, if you go to options and the first setting is configuration, the very first setting in there is called enable dual core, and in parentheses it says speed up. That is enabled by default. That breaks this game. So you want to turn that off. Once you turn that off, you can play the game and it runs well enough. However, there was another thing that someone else that I saw said, turn this off and the game runs like perfect. So if you want to make it run even better, you have to go to options, graphics settings, not configuration. Go to, where is it? Go to the hacks tab. The very bottom option is called VBI skip. I have no idea what that means or what it does, but turn off VBI skip or turn it on. Whatever the opposite is
by default
of the default. I think it's on by default and you want to turn it off. But I don't remember. But either way, go flip that setting to the opposite of whatever it is and then play this game. And it runs almost perfectly. The only time I ever see a tiny hiccup in frames is when you switch from third-person view to cockpit view, or you activate your targeting computer, which if you're going for medals, you're never using your targeting computer anyways, because most of the gold medal requirements require you to use your targeting computer 0 or close to 0, because the longer you have it active, the lower your percentage on your targeting computer effectiveness goes. So at the end of each level, there's a number of things you have to meet in order to get bronze, silver, or gold. And a lot of levels for the gold medal requirement, targeting computer is 100%, which means you didn't use it at all. If you even tap it for a split second, it'll drop to 99. So that's really the only time. After I found those out, the only time you see a slight hiccup in frames is when you switch to first person or back. So, and you never want to use the first person view because your view is much limited being in the cockpit versus when your camera's in third person view, you have a much better view of what's going on. So you never really want to use it anyways. So that makes the game run fine. The other thing is that I don't know what it was, but something was broken with basically all the achievements. So the game was up for like 2 or 3 days, and I got the achievement for beating the first level. Because after I beat the story in the first GameCube game I played, it was kind of late, but I was like, I want to start Rogue Leader, so I popped in and I just wanted to get one achievement on it. And I started in the training mode, but the training mode is actually kind of long, so I just went and did the first mission and got the achievement for beating the first mission. And then when I came back to it the next day, it said there are no achievements. I'm like, what the heck is going on? They completely took the achievement set down in this game off of retro achievements. So, and when you load it up, it said 0 achievements. I'm like, what the heck? So I posted.
It was just demoted, not removed.
Okay, demoted. Yeah, it was demoted.
And for developers, there's an unofficial set, which is where at that point it's on the site, but it's not available for regular users. And unofficial is where they can send it out, have other players go and test it.
Okay. So yeah, they demoted it, so it was no longer active to most players. And so I was like, where'd they go? And they're like, sorry, we had to take it down because they were broken. They'll be up soon. And
when we can figure it out.
Exactly. So like a week had gone by, and I was like, hey, is there an ETA on when the achievements are going to be back? No word. And then all of a sudden, like a day later, the achievements were back. I'm like, yes. So I went back to playing this. I have beaten it, and it is very difficult. I never did get all the gold medals in this one back on GameCube. I got silver medals in all of them, and I got gold on most missions, but there's probably like, because there's only 10, the main game has 10 missions, and there's about 5 bonus missions you can unlock. And I believe so there's 15 missions in the game total. I'd probably say I got maybe like 10 or 11 gold medals, and the rest I only got silver. So I never got all the gold medals because getting all the gold medals is very difficult. I did get gold medals in every single mission in Rogue Squadron, the precursor to this on N64, and I do plan to play that on Retro Achievements at some point. I don't know if I'm going to get all the gold medals again, because I remember some of those levels when I was a kid being a royal pain in the ass.
Watch, it'll be easier for you now that you're older.
That would be great. I remember the one mission I had to play over and over and over again to get the gold medal on Rogue Squadron was, I think you had to break out these prisoners on Kessel. I haven't played the N64 Rogue Squadron since I was a kid, but I remember that level because it took me so many attempts to get it. So I don't know if I'll get all the gold medals in that one again, but I don't plan on getting all the gold medals in this one. But I've gotten all the silver medals, I believe. There's still a few more, and every level in this game has an achievement for getting gold medal on it, but not for bronze or silver. But there is an achievement for getting bronze medals on because you can beat the level without even getting a bronze medal. You do have to meet requirements in order to get a bronze medal. But there's an achievement for beating the game and getting all bronzes and getting all silvers. And I have those ones, but I still have to get I've only so far on the, replaying it again over the last couple weeks, I've only gotten about 3 gold medals, maybe 2. So I've got a lot of work to do. I'm putting this off to the side for now because I've got pretty much everything I'm going to do for now, and I'll come back to it later. But there's some of the, and here's kind of where things get a little weird, or not weird, but I don't know what the word is, but there's a bunch of achievements for beating certain missions with certain vehicles that you don't unlock until you get like a gold medal on every mission. But there are in-game cheats you can use to unlock that vehicle, and then you can go beat whatever level with that vehicle to get that achievement. So I'll probably do that for those achievements. Like Darth Vader's TIE Advance is for getting gold medal in all 50.
Just make sure that those cheats don't invalidate the achievements.
Yeah, there is nothing on the achievement saying in-game cheats not allowed, so you can use them. I did it for one of the achievements. Well, actually, one of the achievements, you actually has a vehicle that you can't even unlock in the game. The only way to get the vehicle is through a cheat code, and then you have to use that vehicle to beat a certain level, and that unlocks an achievement. So they knew that there were cheats in the game when they developed the set.
Yeah, they usually do. So that's usually something they look for first. Because I know one of the games that I'll talk about in a little bit, it has cheats and it would invalidate the achievements.
Okay, so there are a couple achievements that I plan to go back. I want to try to get them legit. Like there's an achievement for getting a gold medal on a couple of specific levels, which unlocks the vehicle, and then you need to use that vehicle to unlock to beat a level or two to get an achievement. So I'm going to try and do that legit, but I don't know. We'll see. But most of I've got like 42 out of the 62 achievements, so I've got like in the 70%.
Come on, it's one of your favorite games. Do it all legit.
It's a great game and I do love it, but I don't know. But I've right now I'm sitting at about 75% completion. It'll probably sit there for a while. But one of the achievements that I did go for is because there's one mission in the game where you have to steal. Well, you don't have to. You can, but it's an optional objective in the level is steal a TIE fighter, and it's also the only level in the game that has two different versions. Of the main missions, and it's based on your system clock. So if you're playing during the day, you play the mission in game during the day, but if it's at night, then you play the mission at night. And you have to steal the TIE fighter in both the day and night versions of the level, and then you unlock the TIE fighter you can use it in other levels, and then you have to use that to beat one of the levels. But I only did it once because there's only 3 people that have this achievement so far. And when I played it, only 2 people had it. So one person did get it since, but I don't know how they did it because the second half of the level is part of the Death Star trench run. It's basically the first level in the game, but you're playing on the Empire side rather than being on the Rebels, and you're playing a TIE fighter. And so you're trying to go down the trench and catch up to the Y-Wing bombers that are making their trench run. But all of a sudden, your TIE fighter, well, I don't remember if the TIE fighter even has a boost, because usually you can hit right trigger to speed up on any vehicle you're in. The TIE fighter may not have a boost method, but in the TIE fighter has always been a very quick, nimble vehicle, and the Y-Wings are very slow. And the Y-Wings don't have a boost. But for some reason in this level, all of a sudden, the Y-Wings can fly the exact same speed as your TIE fighter. So you literally cannot catch up to them if you wanted to. And I don't know how you're supposed to beat the level. So I flew the entire time trying to catch up to them, and they were the same distance away from me the entire time. I'm flying behind them for like 5 minutes, and they're out of range, so I can't shoot them with my lasers. The TIE fighter doesn't have any proton torpedoes or anything, so the only thing I can use are lasers, and I can't catch up to get in range. And it's not like I took too long. Once we got into that section of the level, I'm already in the trench. They're ahead of me, and you can't catch them. I have no idea how you're supposed to do it. So I put a comment on the achievement saying, how is this even possible? And no one's responded yet. So
time to look up a guide on YouTube.
I'm going to have to do that, because I do definitely plan to get that achievement before I completely put this game to the side for a while. But the other thing when it comes to time is there's the training mission I mentioned a few minutes ago has 4 times a day: dawn, day, dusk, and night. And it's also dependent on your system clock when you're playing on GameCube. And there's an achievement for completing all of the objectives in the training mode, and you only have a 20-minute time limit. And you have to do it at all 4 times a day, and that unlocks the Naboo Starfighter. And then there's some achievements tied to beating certain levels with the Naboo Starfighter, which is a great vehicle. And I was like, how the heck do you do this? Because on the GameCube, you just go into your system settings and change the clock. And someone's like, oh, you have to go into Dolphin and go to, let's see if I can find where it is.
I think naturally it just takes your system time from your operating system.
Yes, by default, it'll take the Dolphin emulator will take your time from your operating system. So if you want to edit it so that you can do this achievement without having to play it those specific times a day.
Yeah, because I'm not going to be up at dawn.
Exactly. I was like, I'm not going to get up at dawn for this achievement. So how do you do that? Let me see if I can find it.
At least with Pokemon, it was just night or day.
Where?
At least the Game Boy Color games.
Yeah. Is it in configuration? Oh, it's in configuration. Okay. So if anyone needs to change your system clock on Dolphin for an achievement or something like that, so that you can trick the game into thinking it's a certain time.
So you're telling people to cheat at Animal Crossing?
I guess you could. I'm not going to play Animal Crossing because I think Animal Crossing is dumb. But yes, this is where you would go to, because people did that on GameCube. I do know that that's a thing where they would go and change their system clock, and Mr. Rossetti would get mad at you for that. But if you wanted to do that on GameCube, or on Dolphin Emulator, go into Options, Configuration, and go to the Advanced tab. And it's the very last setting at the bottom called Custom RTC Options. It's unchecked by default, which means it'll just take your system clock. But you can check that box and you can set your date and time. And then when you load the game, you can't do it if the game is running. So you have to close the game, change the clock, and then reload the game. And then the game will think it's whatever time you set. And then you can go and
that's how it was on the original GameCube as well, anyways. So
yeah.
You had to leave the game to actually go reset the clock.
Yeah, so that's how you can change your clock and go do this achievement now, without having to be up at that certain time of day in order to get the achievement. So, and additionally, one last thing I'm going to talk about on this game is this is the first time I ever ran into a retro achievement not unlocking when it's supposed to. And so I was in contact with the dev showing, hey, I've got the screenshots to prove that I did this. And they're like, they couldn't even replicate the issue, and so I just had to go and do it again, and eventually it unlocked. But
there's also a way to do a manual unlock, but they usually usually only do it for like missable achievements.
So they did offer
really difficult.
Well, actually, no, that's not true. This is the second one. The first GameCube game I played, I had an issue with as well. So I'll get into that a little later when we get to that game. This is the second one. I didn't have any
issues with that one.
I'll tell you about it when we get to that point. But the achievement was for, I should have had 3 achievements unlocked at the same time. And it was that mission that I was just telling you about where you have to steal the TIE fighter, because there's an achievement for, I think it was for that achievement for stealing the TIE fighter at night and day. And I had already stolen it on the night version. And so I was playing it on the day version. And I was also going for the silver medal requirement, and I completed the requirements for the silver medal, and so I unlocked the achievement for like beating the level in both the night and day version. And there was something about this specific level on silver, because I don't think there's an achievement for beating each level on bronze, silver, and gold. No, there isn't, but I got 2 of the achievements, but the third one, which was for stealing a TIE fighter at night and day, didn't unlock. And so they tried to replicate it. They couldn't replicate it. Other people were playing it and got the achievement after me. And so they couldn't replicate it. So they have no idea what the deal was. So I went and did it again later. And the second time I tried it, it unlocked like it was supposed to. So he just wrote it off as like a weird glitch.
Sometimes that's what happens.
So
it's not until if it can be repeatable, it's one thing.
So yeah,
I actually did have an achievement bug out, or kind of bug out, but it was more of a confusing way they wrote the code, and they did change it based on my feedback. So
okay,
but I'll talk about that when I get to it.
Okay, so yeah, that was I was able to get the achievement. So I still have more to do to go back to that game. A couple of small achievements, but most of what I have left to do in that game is getting all the gold medals, which I'll get a few of them. I just don't think I'll be able to get all of them because I wasn't able to do it 20 years ago, and I don't think I'll be able to do it now. But we'll
come
see.
On,
but
be like me with DMC5. Grind it out, get it.
I will go back to it and get more, but
it's probably easier than DMC5.
I've got a couple of short achievements that I can get, and then I'll probably put on the back burner and come back to it at a later point. So
yeah.
What else have you been doing on GameCube?
The next 2 games I'll talk about will be pretty quick because these are anime fighters.
Oh, I did. Yeah, I noticed. I was looking at your achievements, and I'm like, I didn't even realize you'd played this game and you've already mastered it.
Yep. Naruto Clash of Ninja is the first one I will talk about. This is.
Are you a fan of the anime? Because I've never even seen the anime.
I like Naruto. It's not one of my favorites, but it's actually pretty good. But what's weird is that this came out right after like the very first arc, so it only had like a handful of characters to even choose from, because it had the main three characters, Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura.
Okay, I've heard those names before.
Their teacher, which is the silver hair guy, Kakashi.
Is he the guy with, like, the bandana over one eye?
The one with over one eye.
Okay.
And of course, they had the 2 villains from the first arc, Haku and Zabuza.
I've not heard those names.
And then here's the thing: after that they had 2 more slots for characters, so they just decided to put Naruto's like elementary school teacher pretty much before he became a actual ninja. His teacher from that his real significance was really just the first couple episodes. But he would like come in every now and then as a support character and be like, "You're doing great, Naruto." That was like his entire purpose of being, was that he was that early teacher.
It's like, why this character?
But it's like, whenever you realize the time frame that they had, they
didn't have much
to work with, they didn't have many characters to work with. So it's like, okay, it makes sense why he brought him in. And they brought in one character from the next arc because he was introduced pretty early, and that was Rock Lee. And I'm pretty sure even you know who he is.
I did. What's the name?
Rock Lee.
I don't know the name. I might know it by
this guy.
Okay.
He's kind of.
Before.
He's pretty famous from the Naruto series. So
okay.
He's the guy who can only use hand-to-hand combat.
Okay. Yeah, I literally know nothing about Naruto. Other than how to pronounce it. It's not Naruto, it's Naruto.
Yeah. But he can't use any of the ninja magic stuff. So he only can use martial arts. But he got pretty far, and the person who put him on that path, he ends up finding one of the final villains in a very epic way. And he was like the only character that actually got acknowledgement from that character during the entire war, before everyone got all the main characters got their power-ups.
Okay. So this game, it's a fighting game, right?
Yes.
Is it a 2D or is it like a 3D?
It's more like Soul Calibur because it's still 3D, but its movement side to side is kind of limited.
It's one where you just like take right and left steps, which change. You're not on the same plane as the other character, but
since it's really early in the series, they had limited things they could do with the. And since it's real early in the series, they had limited things they could do with the ninja magic, like as you build up your chakra, which is just your special meter. You build it up to a certain point. If you get into a combo, get yourself getting hit by a combo, you can use substitution jutsu, which allows you to get out of the combo and then do a counterattack. And sometimes the counterattack doesn't always hit. And but it's actually a really neat way of actually getting out of combos, and every character has it. So it's interesting, and every character felt like they had uniqueness to them. Okay. And also they had all their early ninja stuff. Like Naruto had a sexy jutsu as a counter. Kakashi had a similar counter with his book. And of course Sasuke had his early fire attack.
And so give me a gist of the achievement set.
Most of the achievement set was like unlocking most of the achievement set was mainly unlocking the characters and then beating the arcade mode with each character.
Okay.
Under default settings.
And how many achievements did it have total? So like 40 something?
That one didn't have many. It had 27.
27, okay. And so you mastered that one already?
Yeah, it took me like let me look at the page again. I mastered it in like a day and 16 hours. And that's with sleep.
So that's pretty quick one. Okay.
Yeah, and like I said, it was mainly just beating the single player with each character. And unlocking all the characters. The hardest achievement was definitely was beating 50 doing a 50 streak in survival mode.
Okay.
Because once you get to round 40, they start getting to be a pain to beat. But that's like any survival mode in any fighter.
So that's where you it's still a one-on-one fight, but
it's still one-on-one.
Move on to the next opponent without getting any health back.
You get some health back, so it's not like you only have one health bar for the entire thing. You actually get a little bit of health back, but if you're like one hit away, you're just gonna get like 2 extra hits.
Gotcha. Okay. It's kind of like that the fighting game DLC that was for Azura's Wrath when you
and luckily Rock Lee is actually the best choice to use for that survival mode, because he has a combo that makes him go real far away. So even if your opponent uses a substitution thing to try and get out of the combo and attack you, he moves too much that he won't actually, the counters usually miss him.
Okay.
If you use that combo over and over again.
So, and was this game one that you played back in
No,
the day
this is
on
not
GameCube?
one I played early or as a kid. I actually bought it a while ago, but I just never played it.
This is your first time playing it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was fun for what it was, but it's way more fun than the arena fighters that most anime games do nowadays.
Okay.
That's like your Jump Force, your Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichis, your the Naruto Ninja Storm games. They're all arena fighters, and they all feel the same to me.
Okay, the arena fighter. That's kind of, I guess, the term that I was looking for. Since I don't do fighting games, that's more of your thing. Arena fighters.
I don't do many fighting games, but I do them every now and then.
Okay, but yeah.
But like I said, I do arena fighters more because I like the characters that are in them more than the game itself.
Yeah, so that's the term I was looking for when we were talking about like 3D, whether it's like in an open 3D space, that would be like the arena fighter.
Yeah, but this one's more like Soul Calibur.
Yeah, it's a 2D fighter, but you can move forward and backward slightly, and adds a third dimension to it. So okay. So,
I think this. I might play the sequel sometime soon because that achievement list doesn't look as hard. It just more characters and more story.
Okay.
So it'll just take a little bit longer because of that. But I think I've heard that the sequel actually does 2 versus 2 battles as well. So it does it differently.
So one quick thing on Rogue Leader. The sequel, Rogue Squadron 3 Rebel Strike, does not have an achievement set yet, but someone is currently working on it. So when that comes around, I'm going to give that a shot because I never actually got a chance to play that back in the day. So I'll be playing that at some time. Once they get achievements added to it, I'll be playing that for the first time. That'll be a first time play. But something that you mentioned on Discord the other day that I was like, oh, that's actually, I had thought about it, but I hadn't really thought about it. It was just like a thought that popped into my head and I didn't really think about it. And then you mentioned it in Discord. I'm like, okay, so GameCube games obviously have, some of them have multiplayer. So Dolphin allows you to play multiplayer online. Is that correct?
I don't think I mentioned that, but I think you can play online.
I thought you mentioned that you could.
I think I was saying RetroArch.
Oh, that could have been it.
I think Dolphin does allow it, but it's like a peer-to-peer type thing where one person hosts and the other person has to get the stream has to stream their inputs, but they also have the person who's the host has to stream out the video.
Okay,
that's how they do it.
Okay, well, either way, on RetroArch being older generations of consoles, which didn't have any as far as I know, I don't think any of them had any online capability.
Yeah, because that Slippy mod for Smash Brothers Melee.
I don't.
It's a heavily modified Dolphin to add rollback netcode to Smash Melee and add matchmaking.
Nice.
So the fact that's how a lot of Melee players nowadays practice before tournaments.
Okay.
And a lot more players have been getting into the Melee tournament scene because of it.
Nice.
Because they're actually getting actual practice against players.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, but RetroArch has online play for older games. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think DJ was using it for a while while he was still trying to get his setup right awesome. with Jazzy.
Interesting. Okay.
That's how he was doing. That's how he was doing his streams. That's why he was playing like games like Secret of Mana, which don't require that much fast.
That's right. That's what it was. I think you mentioned that in chat on last night's top 5 JRPG.
It's like net. I think it's called like net play or something like
that. You had mentioned that you can do Secret of Mana and co-op online with RetroArch. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Because I don't know anything about Secret of Mana being a JRPG. But that is cool to know that it has that capability. Awesome.
So that's pretty much all I can talk about with Naruto because it doesn't have that much because it's so early on in the series. It only had like one arc to really talk about, and it literally had like 5 fights for the story mode or something like that.
Okay, that's pretty short.
So like I said, it's not much. But the next game, even though it has less achievements, I think it took me less time, but it had way more characters. And this is the one game I don't have today that don't have physically because it is a Japanese only game.
Okay.
And it is a Bleach fighting game, which is another anime. And I actually prefer Bleach over Naruto.
But I don't know anything about it.
I prefer Bleach over Naruto. So
the one thing I know about Bleach is the logo is like black with like a red flame skull thing.
It changes every now and then.
But yeah, I know nothing about Bleach.
But Bleach is actually about its second arc, which has a lot more characters that make sense to be playable in a fighting game.
No, I'm not thinking of Bleach. I think I'm thinking of Gurren Lagann. Is that the one with the black and red logo?
I think so. Because Bleach's logo is literally just Bleach.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's Gurren Lagann, which I'm thinking of, which is also another anime I know is popular, but I know nothing about.
But this game pretty much takes place during the second arc, which is where Rukia got captured because she was deemed to be I can't remember the exact reason, but she was deemed to have committed a crime that she had to be executed for. So the heroes from our world decided to go save her from the afterlife, pretty much, because the entirety of Bleach is about samurai Grim Reapers, pretty much.
Okay.
So,
and this game that you're talking about, is it also a fighting game?
Yes, it is also a fighting game. It's a 3D fighter as well, similar to Naruto 1, although it's a little bit more sluggish. And I'd say the animations aren't nearly as good. So in the pure gameplay perspective, it's not as good as Clash of Ninja, but of course a sequel could have made it better. But it never, I don't know if it ever got a sequel because I didn't really look into Bleach games back then because I didn't watch Bleach until I was in college.
Okay.
So, but with this game, it has way more characters though, because it has like almost all of the Gote 13 captains, which in this arc are technically the antagonists. But it turns out that they're just the group that keeps the balance of the worlds in place, and they were being misled about Rukia. So in the later arcs, they're actually more protagonists. Okay. Although one of them is really messed up. If you were to look up any character about this series, you should look up Matsuri. I can't remember his last name, but I think his name is Matsuri. But he's a really effed up scientist type guy.
Is that where the con anime Matsuri comes from?
No, wait. It might not even be Matsuri. It's been a while since. What's funny is that because this game's only in Japanese, I wasn't really reading or listening to anything. What's funny is that the character select screen is entirely in English, is in Roman lettering. So you can see the name of each character. So, but since I've actually seen the series a couple of times, I know the characters. But it just had three different story modes based on three of the main characters from this arc. Of course, the main character Ichigo. You also had a story mode based for Renji, and then he's the redhead guy with the wild hair, and then you had Byakuya Kuchiki, who was painted as the main antagonist for this arc until the twist ending. So
yeah, I wouldn't recognize Bleach if I even.
To be honest, Bleach's second arc is considered its best, but I would say 1,000-Year Blood War arc, which is currently airing, is actually pretty close to it, because it's actually bringing a lot of story points together for a lot of the characters. But of course, that's Bleach the anime. This is the game.
Right.
So most of what I had to do was I had to go. There was a character you unlocked doing the tutorial. Of course, that's kind of hard when you can't read Japanese. Luckily, most of the button prompts were just using the button itself, so
yeah,
it wasn't as bad. But there were a couple I was like, "How do I do this?" But
yeah, and then I was just going to ask you what the achievement set was like on this game.
And most of the achievement set is just unlocking all the characters.
And you already mastered this one as well?
Yes, I have already mastered this one. The crazy thing is, though, 3 of the characters are in a separate mode called 13 Bansobu mode. I don't know what Bansobu means, but you pretty much have to go through 13 characters. It's kind of the survival mode of this, but it ends at 13.
Okay.
And it's one round games, and you had to do it on hard mode as well. But for each difficulty, there was a character to unlock. but they didn't unlock if you played on the highest difficulty first. So you had to go through on each difficulty.
Okay.
But that's how the game itself did it. So can't get mad at the achievements for doing it that way too.
Yeah. So
and then the rest of the characters are mainly just you beating the single player mode. The problem with that though is that 4 of the characters you have to beat certain characters, a single player mode, in a certain order. Like character A, character B, character C, and character D in that order.
All right.
And a couple of the and Ichigo, which is the main character, he was in 3 of those. Chains, and you couldn't chain. There was only one of them you could chain together because the last character in one chain was the first character in another, and you could chain those 2 together that way. So you could do one less run that way.
Gotcha.
And then after that, it was mainly just unlocking all the 3D artwork, which is just using the unlocked characters you didn't actually use for the chains and beat the single player mode that way. Luckily, all that I could just do on easy.
So which one would you say was the hardest?
I would say Clash of Ninja was the harder one.
Oh, well, that was actually going to be my next question. What between the 2 fighting games, which one's harder? But that's what you were just answering, right?
Yeah,
that the Naruto game was harder.
To be honest,
what I meant was which of the achievements on this game was the hardest.
Oh, beating that 13 Bunso solo mode on hard.
That's what I figured.
But it's not nearly that bad compared to Naruto, the Clash of Ninja 50-round survival mode.
Okay. And you said this one you mastered in a day in 16 hours? Or
no, the other one Naruto? I did in a day in 16 hours.
Okay.
This one I did in a day in 3 hours.
Okay.
I did it mostly in one day, but I had to sleep.
Gotcha. Okay.
But nice and easy games to get some masteries for the event points.
Okay. Cool. So yeah, anything else about the Bleach game?
That's nope.
Japanese only?
The only thing I'd say is go watch the anime. It's great.
Okay. So, all right. Well, my second game. Oh, shoot. Oh, I don't have it handy because it's packed away because it's not that great of a game. So I didn't pull it out and I didn't want to go look for it. So I don't have it handy, but it's somewhere.
The other game is better anyways.
Oh, well, no, that one I do have, but I'm
talking about the other game in the series that I know you're about to talk about on the GameCube.
Okay. We'll talk about that in a moment. But the third game I was playing on GameCube that I have been playing the most over the last week or so plays a lot like this game, but is nowhere near as good. And that is Star Fox Assault. I have it somewhere, but I didn't bother.
I'm just saying that Adventure is better than Assault.
Okay. Yeah, Star Fox Assault is not great. Star Fox Adventures does not have an achievement set yet, but someone is working on it, and that'll be another one when the achievements come out. I'll be playing that for the first time because I always wanted to play it when I was a kid. I just never did.
It's pretty much Zelda with the dinosaur and Star Fox paint over it.
So, but Star Fox Assault is the sequel to Star Fox 64, right? There was no other Star Fox games in between.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, because I think Command came out after Assault.
And that was a DS game.
Yeah, and those are technically the only two real sequels to 64.
Yeah. So Star Fox
Zero is supposed to be a prequel, but
okay. Hey, and we got Fracture's in chat saying, "Howdy, gents. What's up, Fracture? Good to see you, buddy." So yeah, I played Star Fox Assault on GameCube back in the day. I remembered almost nothing about this game. I
remember enjoying it, but that's about it.
About 20 years since I played it. And just like Smash Bros., I booted it up to check my stats to see what I did in the game way back because like I said, I literally remember almost nothing about this game. It was almost like a first play for me. There was a couple times where I was like, oh, this looks familiar, but it had been 20 some years since I played it. But when I booted it up, I had gold medals and everything. So I would have had, if I could transfer my save data and have the achievements unlocked retroactively, I think I would have all but one achievement.
How hard are those gold medals, or are they not that bad?
Given that I got them back when I was a kid, and I don't even remember this game. They must not be that bad.
I mean, I see you've gotten a couple.
I've got about half of them. So it plays very much like Rogue Leader, except there are a lot of on-foot segments, so if you were going to play a Star Fox game, I'd probably say Star Fox 64, because that one is...
And that one already has a set on retro achievements too. So
that's another one that I'll be playing when I get around to playing N64 games on retro achievements, because I love Star Fox.
I'm not 64. Thinking does the DS games have achievements?
I think so, but I don't know, since I never had Star Fox DS games. But when it comes
Star Fox Command does, and I've heard that one's good. So.
Okay, but when it comes to the on rails, or not even on rails, because some levels are on rails and some are like an open 3D space where you're flying around.
It's just like 64.
Yeah. It's just because on N64 Star Fox, the only on foot you had was you could unlock it as a multiplayer character, but it was really difficult. So you had to get like gold medals on like every level to even unlock it. I don't remember exactly what the requirement was, but I remember the requirement to unlock on foot in multiplayer was hard, and I did do it. I just don't remember what the requirement was. But that's the only way you could be on foot was in multiplayer. In Star Fox Assault, there are a lot of levels where you're actually on foot. But there's also a lot of flying sections and Landmaster tank sections. But it plays a lot like this, with the exception of the on-foot sections. And the achievements are very similar in that there's bronze, silver, and gold medals for each level. You can, but in Star Fox Assault, you can beat a level without getting a bronze medal if you don't meet the bronze medal requirement. But there's no achievement in the game for even doing anything on bronze medal. So it's, I did do it on bronze difficulty on my first playthrough, because it's not a long game. There's only 10 levels, and there are a total of 47 achievements. I currently have 40 of them, so I'm pretty close to
I think the rest of them are just getting gold medal and then that silver medal on survival.
Exactly. And that silver medal on survival is the only achievement I probably wouldn't have if I was able to load my save data from my GameCube save, because I don't know if I ever did that. But given that I loaded it up and I saw I had all the gold medals and I literally remembered nothing about the game, I was like, oh, it can't be that difficult, because if it was difficult, I would probably remember it. So I'm planning on getting the mastery in this game. So
we got to make sure that you remember Dark Souls.
But I've got, like I said, there's only 10 levels. I've got the gold medals on the first 5 levels, and I played through all the levels on bronze the first time just to get reacquainted with the game. But I found out last night that the difficulties do not stack. So if you get a gold medal, you still have to do it on the silver difficulty and meet the requirements to get the silver medal, which is dumb. So there's a couple levels that I didn't even get a bronze medal. I just beat. Yeah. But there's no achievements tied to beating the game with bronze, but there is an achievement for beating the game on silver, which I think I got that achievement last night or the night before. And then, of course, there's an achievement for beating the game on gold. And
that'd be kind of like whenever they make an achievement set for Halo CE, they base it on getting each of the icons for each level.
It won't
for each difficulty.
It won't be stackable. That makes sense.
Yeah, but that'll be how it did it in game.
Right. So that'll be great when they do add that. But the achievements are very similar to this as well, with the not the difficulties, but the medals,
the structure.
Because there was.
It sounds like this. It sounds like the games have similar structures. So
very similar structures. But just like this, I don't think there was a gold medal or a bronze medal achievement, but there is for silver and gold. And just like this one, there's an achievement not for each level on bronze or silver, but there's an achievement for each level on gold. Star Fox Assault also has an achievement for beating each level on gold. And then there's also an achievement for beating each level without losing any of your allies, because if you've played a Star Fox game, you always know that throughout the levels, they'll be like, Fox, help me, because I suck at my job and I need you to hold my hand and save me. And if you don't save them, then you'll lose them for that mission. So you have to beat each level without.
It wouldn't be so bad if you actually saw them taking down enemies every now and then.
Yeah, they basically do nothing. You have to babysit them. They're completely useless. They're pointless. They're worthless. They all suck.
4-player Star Fox game win.
Well, I've never tried Star Fox Assault.
I'm talking about co-op.
Oh, a co-op game. That would be pretty cool. Because I know Star Fox 64 had 4-player multiplayer. I don't know if Star Fox Assault has mostly 4-player. Yeah, it does have a versus mode. It's just there's no achievements tied to it, and I'm not going to play it on my own. I think it does have bots. Star Fox 64 did not have bots, but I think Star Fox Assault does have bots, but there's no achievements for it, and I'm not going to play the multiplayer for no reason.
You will have to play the multiplayer if you want the mastery for Metroid Prime Hunters.
That's right. But there's an achievement for beating each level, and there's an achievement for each level for beating it without losing any of your enemy or any of your sidekicks. So
luckily you don't have to do that in the same run though.
Yeah, you can stack that on top of other achievements as well. So but there's an achievement for beating each level, one for each level for without losing anyone. There is also each level has 5 hidden special flags, and you just have to find all the special flags. I had to go look up a guide. But this is for being a first-party Nintendo game, this game is pretty niche. The newest videos I could find for those flags was like 12 years old, and they're all in like 240p because no one's done a better resolution of these guide videos because this game is so old and not many people have played it. I would literally consider it going and making an updated version of make a video for each level on where all the flags are in 1080 so that it exists, because that literally does not exist on YouTube anywhere. I think I found one that was 360p, but the first few that I found were all 240p and were from like 14 years ago, and then I found like a 360p from 12 years ago. So the quality sucks because this game is pretty niche, and I don't think it did very well. But the problem is, I don't know why you're able to. I was talking to you about this, I think, yesterday. For some reason, my OBS will not capture my Dolphin emulator. It'll capture, like, if I try to do it, it pulls up a single frame and it just freezes there. My Dolphin emulator is running just fine, but OBS, there's only one frame, and I can't stream Dolphin to it. I don't know why. If OBS would play,
you must think it's Dolphin porn.
If it played nice with Dolphin, I would seriously consider just recording where they all are and uploading them so that there's an actual 1080p version of it on the internet somewhere.
Yeah, what's funny is you're on Windows, I'm on Linux, and it just works for me.
And I'm on Windows 10, not 11, so I have no idea what the problem is. I went and Googled it, and there are other people who are having the same problem. They can't get OBS to pick up their Dolphin, but you have no problem with it. I don't know what the deal is.
It just worked for me.
But there's an achievement for each level for getting all 5 special flags, and then there's an achievement at the end for getting all the special flags in the game, which I've done that as well. And basically, as you said, the only thing I have left in the game is last night I got the achievement for getting all the silver medals, and I did because it was gonna bug me. Like I said, they don't stack, so you can get silver without getting bronze, or you can get gold without getting bronze or silver. There were a couple levels that I beat, but I didn't even get a bronze medal, and there's no achievement for it, but there is for silver and gold. So I could just get the silver and gold, but there's going to be that empty space there saying you didn't get a bronze medal on this level, even though there's no achievement for it, and that would just drive me nuts with my OCD. So I went and got those bronze medals on those levels also, and I finished up getting all of the silver medals last night. And I still have 5 more gold medals to get. I think so far they haven't been too bad. A few of the levels I've gotten first try or almost first try. A couple of the first 5 levels that I've gotten gold medals on, I had to do like 3 or 4 times. There was one that I think I had to do like 5 or 6 times. But so far, they haven't been too bad. The main thing with the medals that makes it difficult is there's just like Rogue Squadron or Rogue Leader, there's a time requirement. Fortunately, because Rogue Leader also has an accuracy requirement, so you can't miss your shots if you want to get certain medals. Fortunately, Star Fox Assault doesn't have that, so you can just go ham and shoot nonstop and not have to worry about missing or your accuracy, because it pretty much auto locks on to targets when they're within range, just like on Star Fox 64. But the main thing that your metal ranking is based on is your hit score, and in order to get a higher hit score is you want to keep your combo up, because every time you kill an enemy, it adds to your counter, and there's a bar, and if that bar, it starts, if you kill a bunch of enemies really quick, the bar fills up and it slowly decreases unless you get more kills to keep it going. It's probably, if I had to say, the amount of time that it takes for it to fully deplete is like 10, maybe 15 seconds. So it's generous. But
it's like the newer DMC games with style rating, not like the first ones.
Yeah. And so how it works is that the more kills you get without breaking your combo, every 10 kills you get, you'll get bonus hits added to it. So like after 10 kills, you get a bonus 5 points. After like 20 kills, you'll get a bonus 10 points. After like 50 kills, you'll get a bonus 20 points. And after like 70 or 80 kills, you'll get like a bonus 30 points every 10 kills you get without breaking your combo. And you want to get your combo, keep your combo up so you get more points, because that's the biggest thing that your score is based on at the end. It's also based on time. The more time you have left, the more points you get added to your score. But the time is like the if you were to like say what's the balance between them, your score is probably like 80%. Your combo is like 80% of your score towards your medal, and your time bonus is only like 20%. So it's much better to take more time and get more kills than it is to rush through it in order to beat it in a quicker time, because the time is does not give you as much more points to your score for your medal as your combo kills do, if that makes sense.
Makes sense.
So that's the main thing, is getting enough kills in each level and chaining them together to get your gold medals. So I still have 5 more levels to do, which I don't think they're going to be too difficult. But and then, as you mentioned, the last achievement is you have to complete survival mode on silver. I don't even know what that entails. I haven't even looked at it yet, but that'll definitely be my last achievement. And
probably just has to survive until you get a silver medal.
Yeah, it could be. I don't know. I haven't even looked it up yet, but I do plan to get the mastery on this one. Like I said, I don't plan to get the mastery on Rogue Leader. We'll see, but I definitely plan to get the mastery on Star Fox Assault, especially given that I beat it way back in the day and I vaguely remember the game. The one thing that is a royal pain in the butt is the on-foot controls in this game are awful. They are terrible. They are almost identical to the last game I'm going to talk about on GameCube.
So, but at least the last game we're about to talk about it was actually built with those controls in mind.
Exactly. So I'll just leave it at that. The on-foot controls in Star Fox Assault are awful, and they are almost identical to another game we'll be talking about in a few minutes. But I know that you've got one more game to talk about before we get to that.
Next 2 games I'll be talking about, I've done on stream.
Okay.
And so since you're done with Star Fox Assault, I'm going to talk about Super Mario Sunshine.
Angry Canadian's favorite.
Yep. And it's my favorite 3D Mario game. I actually think it's better than 64. And it's because Mario's control in this game is so damn smooth. It's like an upgrade to 64 in every way, in my opinion, to the movement. And of course, adding the FLUDD there is actually really cool.
The FLUDD is in this game?
FLUDD. Yeah.
Oh.
The backpack.
Right. I've never played it. I've seen it played, but yeah. I hear FLUDD, I think Halo.
Yeah, but it's FLUDD.
It's an acronym, right?
Yeah, it's an acronym. It's made by the same guy who made the vacuum for Luigi's Mansion.
Okay. That tracks.
But so is the paintbrush that Bowser Jr. uses. So.
Okay. And I'm assuming that you played Mario Sunshine back in the day and loved it.
Yes, I did. I did play it back in the day, and I did get 120 shines back in the day as well. So.
Okay.
So this is just me going back and doing it again. It's just been a really long time.
For achievements.
Yep.
I'm so glad like this exists, because I've got so many games that I haven't played since I was a kid that I'm looking forward to playing again, because now there's achievements for it.
Yeah.
So, but Filter's saying that he needs to play Sunshine. Somehow I missed it on GameCube.
Well, Fractured, if you need to know the device I'm using to plug a GameCube controller into my PC, I can send you a link to the Amazon.
Yeah, he's you might have missed it earlier, but he's using an actual GameCube controller that you would plug into your GameCube to play these games. I am not. I am using a third-party Switch Pro controller to play, but he's playing a legitimate GameCube controller. Oh, that was one other thing. No, I'll get into that later.
By the way, this is so original controller. I have to have an extension cord just to get it.
Because the GameCube controller cords were so short. Yeah. I forgot about that. I still have my GameCube controllers, but
so do I. And I have a Wavebird, but I've never gotten those adapters to work. The adapters to work with the Wavebird.
Oh, he's already got the GameCube adapter. Sweet. So yeah, you get on. Oh, you did create a Fracture did create a Retro Achievement account recently, but I don't think he's played anything yet. Over there. So get on it. Start playing some Retro Achievement games, which Fractured.
But with Sunshine, most of the achievements are just like getting the shines and getting all the blue coins and all that. But there are some achievements specifically to specific shines to do it without using flood or without doing a certain thing like beating a race without going on the grass or using the flood. So pretty much you have to get to a specific point without touching the grass or using the backpack. Yep, exactly. And thing is, most of those achievements already have guides to them on the achievement page, so you can just look at how they did it and then formulate your own way. There were a couple that I was trying to do it their way, and I was like, okay, they're doing it way too hard. So.
Oh, okay. So he's saying, yeah, he hasn't started anything yet. He's waiting to finish KOTOR 2, and maybe.
Sheesh, at this rate, they're gonna add achievements to Xbox before you're finished with KOTOR. And then you'll have another reason to play KOTOR 2.
KOTOR 2 already has achievements, but KOTOR 1 does not. At least on Steam.
Oh, okay, on Steam. I was about to say because
on Xbox.
Once anywhere else, where would it have achievements?
Yeah, Steam has KOTOR 2 achievements, but not KOTOR 1. But you're talking about once Xbox gets added to retro achievements, and they add achievements for.
Wouldn't it be funny if when Xbox got added, Microsoft actually was like, "Hey, all the games that are available on our backwards compatible program, can we use your code to put them?"
That would be awesome. Patch that into actual original Xbox games. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, because it's supposed to work with any. If you know what you're doing in the tool set, that should work with any emulator.
That's awesome.
But a couple of the achievements were a pain in the butt because of how they were set up. Like one was getting to the top of the windmill without using the flood, and that's actually using the windmill, and that's actually way harder than it sounds because you have to use a Oh no, wait! Don't use the hover nozzle, so you can use something else to because you need to stun an enemy so you can jump on it to trampoline up.
Okay.
But that one was really difficult because you also had to do some crazy wall jumps on the windmill arms instead of using the platformers on the edges.
And one thing I was gonna ask, what's your progress so far? How many achievements? It has like 150 achievements, right?
Something like that. It's been a minute since I looked at the exact numbers, but
I'm curious what your
58 out of 148.
Okay, so about a third.
But I'm gonna be unlocking a bunch more the next time I stream because
Oh yeah, you're only doing this one on stream, huh?
Yeah, so that's the reason why I'm doing it a little bit slower. But I'm gonna be grabbing quite a few because you got collect all 30 blue coins, complete all 8 episodes, and some of those you can't do without Yoshi, and I just unlocked Yoshi the previous stream. So I have to go back to some of those older levels and bring Yoshi in.
Okay. Oh, and Fracture saying essentially he's getting close to the end of KOTOR 2. Okay. So yeah, you're only doing this one on stream. I don't think you did the fighting games on stream, right? That was
I did those off stream.
And
Pikmin was off stream as well.
Okay, that's what I was wondering about.
Now, just as a heads up, if anyone does want to do the completion for Sunshine, there are 4 missable achievements because those coins and shines don't come back because they're in the hub world pretty much. But everything else is repeatable. So and 3 of those missables are actually
pretty far into the game.
You can do like real early in the game.
Okay, that was my next question. Is on missables. If they're at the end of the game, that sucks. If they're pretty early,
The thing
in the game,
is, though,
not a big deal.
remember how you said you had an issue with an achievement not unlocking?
Yeah.
The last missable was the one that actually didn't unlock for me.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't. I was like, I actually put in a ticket and put in a manual unlock in the Discord because I'd have to go through up to where I am now again to get it again because I have to unlock Yoshi. And the guy actually said, "Yeah, I understand how it can be confusing, so I've changed the requirements so that if you use the hover nozzle before you unlock Yoshi, it doesn't invalidate the achievement."
Okay.
So pretty much they took my my troubles as feedback. So
yeah,
at the very least, because the moment I was like, okay, I have Yoshi now, go get this missable before I forget.
Yeah,
but because I had used the hover nozzle to unlock Yoshi, it caused the achievement not to want to pop.
Gotcha. Yeah, the first achievement that I had trouble with, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. He's like, "Hey, do you want a manual unlock on that? You can do it in the Discord." And I was like, "I'm going to be doing another playthrough of the game anyways, so I'll just get it on that one, and I'll test it for you and make sure that your updated achievement logic works." And so, But I'll talk about that in a little bit.
So that's pretty much it that I can talk about Sunshine because just going through the game right now, I've gone through about four and a half. Yeah, 4.5. Actually, 3.5 of the 7 worlds. So it's not as long as some of the other Mario games because it's only like seven worlds outside of the hub.
Gotcha. Okay, that was going to be my next question. Is have you beaten it? You have to go back for stuff? Or are you trying to do everything on your first?
I'm just trying to go through everything as quick as I get it. So I always play I always play the Mario games where I just keep playing the same level over and over again until I get everything.
Gotcha.
Unless there's something that I can't do in there because I have to unlock something. Like this time around, I had to unlock Yoshi.
And then
in 64, you have to unlock the different caps.
Okay. Yeah, if it's something you can't do on the first time, you obviously have to come back to it later. But other than that, you try to get it all on your first run. Okay.
But with Sunshine, I am actually using an original game guide from back in the day. So.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not using an online guide.
Yeah, like I said, I haven't started it, but we were talking about it earlier, and I will be playing it soon. But I have the official.
You don't really need the
Smash
Melee
Bros.
one as
Melee
much.
guide. Yeah, I don't remember ever really using this one that much, but I did pull it out for when I.
To be honest, you can just pull up the game facts. You can just pull up the game facts cheats portion, and you get all the details you need besides the bonuses for the Diskin achievement or Diskin trophy.
Oh, that's basically what I used it for, was tracking the trophies and figuring out what I needed to do.
Well, you got the achievements now for that.
Yeah, back then you didn't. So, but it's nice to have it physical. I literally hadn't pulled this out in 20 years, but I've got that, and I've got another guide here for the last game we're going to be talking about.
Just to let you know, if you're going to go for the full completion of Smash Bros. Melee,
I probably
unlock Luigi as late as possible.
Why is that?
Because if you're going for those hard adventure mode runs, when you unlock on Luigi, whenever that Metal Mario fight happens, it's gonna turn into the Metal Mario Brothers.
Oh, but if you don't have Luigi yet, it's only Metal Mario, not Metal Mario Brothers.
And it's really easy to get Mario to fall off the map, even on the hard.
Okay.
Because the AI is kind of not smart.
What's the unlock requirement for Luigi?
Oh, it's either play 800 versus matches or on that first platformer section of Mushroom Kingdom, finish it with a 2 at the end. 2 in the seconds place.
Okay.
So just avoid getting a 2 in the seconds place.
All right. So.
And since I literally just finished all the characters except for Luigi and Mr. Game & Watch, it's now time to unlock Luigi.
So yeah, I don't plan to probably do the full mastery of Melee, but I do plan to get probably at least 90%.
Well, it sounds like you should at least go for Luigi last.
Yeah, when I do play it, I'll definitely.
The only problem is that
heed that advice.
The only problem is that you won't unlock all the event modes until after you unlock Luigi. You can only go up to event 30.
Okay. Yeah, I do remember doing those back in the day, and yeah, that's another thing I checked. I did complete all of the event modes. However, so there's some achievements for doing some of the event modes with certain characters or meeting certain requirements that I probably wouldn't have done. But now there's
Well,
an
there's
achievement
one for
for it,
like
so I'll have to do it.
beating the all-star sections, you know, where you beat like 6 of the fighters in one go. You just beat them without dying once.
Well, I'm talking about
on those
the
you get
actual
2 lives, so it's not that bad.
Because are you talking about in adventure mode? Or are you talking about the events? Because there was like 50 events. Okay.
There's like 5 events where you fight against 5 characters.
Oh, okay.
In a row. So I'm talking about those events.
Gotcha. But yeah, there's some achievements that are tied to some of those specific events for doing them.
I know there's one for beating event 51 without dying.
Yeah, so
that's the one where you do a 1-on-3 against Mewtwo, Ganondorf, and Bowser.
Oh goodness!
Luckily,
I do remember doing that. I did.
The only one you really have to have a problem with is Giga Bowser because he's so huge. He's just so strong that even his dumb AI can actually still kill you easily. But once you get rid of him, the other 2 just kind of walk towards you. Okay. And Mewtwo will charges Shadow Ball, and he'll do it in a stupid way. Like he can sometimes get knocked off while he's charging it, and he just won't let go.
So, but yeah, I probably wouldn't have gotten all those event specific achievements, but I would have gotten the achievement for beating all the events. So I definitely plan to do that again. So, but all right, anything else about Sunshine, or should we move on to the main game?
Nope, you'll hear more about Sunshine next month because I'm going to continue playing. Hopefully, I'll be finished with it before next Achievement Chasers, and I'll move on to my next game, which I'll talk about later, after we're all done.
So are we ready to talk about the same game that we've been playing?
Yep.
All right. So I've got the physical, and
I've got the physical.
I've got the physical. You've got 3 of them.
Yeah, because this is the bonus disc one, which has echoes with the demo disc. It has a demo of Metroid Prime 2.
Okay, cool. I didn't even know that existed.
And then this one is the Kmart exclusive with the Wavebird.
Oh.
I don't have the Wavebird with it, but the fact that it's a different box is pretty cool.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, and then I've got the default.
And this one even is not for resale as well. So.
Okay.
See the.
Oh right yeah, I do see it. Yeah, mine doesn't have that.
And then of course the original release.
That's what I got. Because I'm pretty sure I got this on launch day. But yeah, Metroid Prime.
But it's kind of crazy how I have all 3 of these versions, and yet the original version that they had set to the game on the set was not any of these 3 because it's only the player's choice that was set to the achievement set.
Yeah, so we've been saving this. This was the very first game I started on Retro Achievements on GameCube. Only the 4th Retro Achievement game I'd ever even played. This was my number 2 on my top 5 Metroidvanias, I believe, was Metroid Prime. On our
my number 1 game.
Of the top 5. Fantastic game. I have not played it in quite a while. We were talking about it before we went live. I think the last time I did a full playthrough of the whole Prime trilogy, probably 2016 or 17. So it's been a while. So it was excellent to go through this game again and for achievements for the first time. But yeah, this is the first one I started up immediately. As soon as GameCube said, we're going to be live in a couple weeks for retro achievements, I'm starting off with Metroid Prime. So I've got the guide here, which I've been referencing a few times. I still need to reference it every once in a while because I don't have the game 100% memorized like Dude does, because he says he's been playing it like once a year for every year since it's been out. It's been a while since I played it, but I do know the game quite well.
I play it twice because I have to play through it on hard mode as well.
Okay. So, and Nerd Takes is here. What's up, Jay? Good to see you, buddy. How's it going? So, yes. So, yeah, I've been referencing the guide. However, the guide does not have everything. I printed it out back. So, obviously, I played this like day 1 when it came out way back. So, I love this game. The guide does not have anything in it, at least not the official Nintendo guide. I don't know about the Prima guide because that's not the one I have, but it does not have anything in it for all the scans that you need to scan for all the lore and creatures and stuff. There's achievements tied to getting all the scans, and some of them are missable, mainly the bosses. So I have a list of all the creatures that I printed out and all the pirate data and Chozo lore and where they're located. printed out from cheatcc.com, June 17th, 2003. So I've had these for.
Are they in the same order as they are that they show up in the game?
Yes, because I when back in 2003 when I printed this off, I had to go through a couple of different lists.
You printed off back then.
I printed this. Yeah, it printed the date it was printed.
Oh,
June 2003. So these papers.
I thought that was when the guide was made, not whenever you printed it.
This is when I printed these pages over 20 years ago. And I had to go through a couple different ones because they were. It
sounds like what I used to do with Dynasty Warriors weapon unlocks.
Yeah, but most of the ones you find online are all in alphabetical order, which is a pain in the butt because then you have to go mark off each one to figure out which one you're missing. It took me a while to find them in the correct order that they're listed in game because they're not listed in alphabetical order. So I found them on CheatCC, which was my cheat website before GameFAQs existed. And I even had, that was my first email address was, I don't remember what it was, but it was an @cheatcc.com was my first email address. I don't believe that website even exists anymore, but I found it in the order that they're listed in the game. So I printed them off and I've kept them in my Metroid Prime guide. So I still have these so I could figure out which ones I'm missing, where I need to go to get the ones that I'm missing so I could get that achievement. I did it way back in the day and got 100%, but there was no achievement for it. But now there is. So I have Dude has already mastered it, and I'm pissed because he mastered it before me, and he was only doing it on stream, and I had like a week head start on him because he did Pikmin as his first game, and I did Metroid Prime for my first game on day one.
While during the week of the release, I was still playing this game.
Yeah,
on stream.
He was still playing other games. Day one of GameCube's launch on Retro Achievements, I started up Metroid Prime, and he still got the mastery before me. I still don't have the mastery. I have one achievement left, and it's the speed run for beating the game.
And that was the one I did. That's the one I attempted for first.
Yeah, he did this one first, and I saved it for last.
And I ended up doing it in one night.
You did it in one night,
the first night.
The first night, and it's the speed run for beating the game in under 3.5 hours. I did make an attempt at it, and I think my first attempt was last weekend. It was within the last week, and I missed it by 5 minutes. I sent a picture of my time to Dude, and it was 3 hours and 35 minutes. I was freaking pissed because he did 100%, and not on his first playthrough, but he did 100% run because obviously there's an achievement for 100%. He did 100%
Well,
run.
I just did that 100% run just because I was trying to get the achievements for the bosses during that run.
And was your 100% run on normal or on hard?
I originally did the 100% on hard, but the one I did in 340 was on normal.
Yeah, so he did 100% run in 3 hours and 40 minutes. He missed the 3.5 hour speedrun achievement by 10 minutes, getting 100%.
I wasn't even trying for it. I was just trying to get the achievements for the bosses.
I was trying for it. I got the space jump boots early so I could do some sequence breaking.
I did it like once or twice, and I said, "Nah, this is going to take too long."
And I skipped a lot of upgrades. My final time that was 3 hours and 35 minutes, my completion percentage was like 68%. I skipped a bunch of stuff, and I still didn't make the time limit. And he did 100%, and he did it in only 5 minutes longer than I did. How the heck is that possible?
I just play the game more, and I know it like the back of my hand.
Yeah, apparently, because that still pisses me off. But there's an achievement for beating each of the bosses, beating the game
in a specific way.
Yeah, some of the bosses have it for beating them in a specific
like the Parasite Queen beat her without her using her breath attack, and that's where you abuse the
you have to beat her in like
missile
10 seconds.
That's where you beat the rapid missile attack.
Oh. Yeah, you have to beat her super fast before she does that.
I can tell you right now, you abuse that later on.
So there's an achievement for beating the Omega Pirate without letting his armor regenerate, and that one's tricky. But yeah, there's a bunch of
once you figure out the trick, it's not that bad.
I think each boss actually has an achievement.
Each major boss
in some special way. There's an achievement for beating on normal. There's an achievement for beating the game on hard. There's an achievement for getting 100% items. There's an achievement for getting 100% of the lore. So I have everything except for the speed run. But yeah, and I was going to make another because I wanted to have the mastery before this stream. I wasn't able to pull it off. I was and before GameCube even became available on Retro Achievements, I knew that not only was Metroid Prime going to be the first game I play on GameCube, it was going to be my first mastery, because before I started Metroid Prime, I've only, as of right now, I still only have 6 games played on Retro Achievements. Star Fox Assault, Rogue Leader, Metroid Prime, and the only other 3 I played were the ones that I played when I first started, when you told me about it back in December and January.
And they're the Mega Man X games.
Mega Man X 1, 2, and 3. So those are the only 6 games I played on Retro Achievements so far. I have a list of like 80 games I'm going to be playing, so I've got a lot that I want.
Just as a heads up on that, if you're going for that Mega Man X collection mastery, it has the same achievements as the Mega Man X. So have fun with Launch Octopus again.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm not going to get the mastery on Mega Man X collection on GameCube. It's got like 400 achievements.
But it's across like 7 games. So
yeah, it's got 7 games. It's got like 4,000 points. But I love Mega Man X. And it's got Mega Man X's 1 through 6. So it ends right at 7, which is the one that's god awful. So I'm glad that one's not included. And then
is it the one where the guy goes burnt to the ground?
Yes, that is Mega Man X7. But so it's got 1 through 6. A lot of people don't like X5 or X6. I thought they were okay, but they're not as good as 1 through 4. But it ends at 6, so you don't have to worry about X7, which is great.
Can we get an
X9? Got some Mega Man. There is no X9.
Can we get an X9?
Oh, can we? Yeah, I would be up for that. But the 7th game that's in this collection,
they gave us Mega Man 8, 9, and 10, and 11.
That's true, but Mega Man's been on ice since Mega Man 11.
Oh, wait, 9, 10, and 11. I mean,
yeah,
8 was made back in the PS1. So
yeah, I knew what you meant. So it's got X 1 through 6, and then it's got a Mega Man kart racer game that I've never even heard of, that I've never played before in it as well. But I'm going to be doing that at the Mega Man X collection at some point, because I do love the Mega Man X games. But yeah, so I've only got 6 games played on my Retro Achievement account so far. I've got a lot that I'm going to play, but of the original 3 Mega Man X 1, 2, and 3, X I have.
Are you going to play the game that one of our friends got struck by lightning from?
Which one was he playing when that happened?
Mega Man X Command Mission.
That was Command Mission. No, that's a turn-based RPG. I have no interest in playing Command Mission. That's right.
I told him whenever that achievement list got created, I was like, you know what you have to do, and I just linked him the list.
Yes. So before GameCube launched, I only had the 3 Mega Man X games. Mega Man X, I've got 50 out of 57. Mega Man X2 is my lowest completion game right now, with I have 56 out of 70, and then Mega Man X3 was my highest one with 60 out of 61. There's only one achievement I have left in X3, and it's for like beating the game with no upgrades, which I can do probably. I just haven't made an attempt at it yet. But I was like, the first mastery I'm going to get on Retro Achievements is going to be Metroid Prime. So I'm at 61 of 62. Only thing I have left is the speed run. Like I said, I made an attempt at it. I missed it by 5 minutes. I wanted to have the mastery before this stream. I didn't pull it off. I was playing it basically all day today. I was like, 3.5 hours. I should be able to do that, because I started at like 11.
You gotta remember, it doesn't take into the time all of the menus and all that. So
exactly,
it takes longer than 3.5 hours.
It takes longer than 3.5 hours, because it's 3.5 hours of actual playtime. Pause and map screen don't count. Cutscenes don't count.
The elevator rides don't count.
So I was like, I started like at 11:30 this morning. And
if you look at that first stream, I think it was around 4 hours.
Okay.
Hours.
I started at 11:30. This stream was scheduled, for 3 o'clock, so that was 3.5 hours exactly. So I told Dude right before we started, I am just about to go fight the Phazon. Not the Phazon. I'm at the entrance to the Phazon mines, and I have to go back to. And my next objective is for beating the Omega Pirate and getting the Phazon suit.
I see you still need 2 of the artifacts.
Yeah, and so once I have that, I'll have the Phazon suit. Well, I'll need to backtrack just a little bit to get that one artifact that's in the that Phazon circle room. But there's no way you can get it without it, because you stay in the Phazon for so long.
Even if you have full health, you can't get it.
Yeah. So I have 2 artifacts, or is it just 2 artifacts left?
Yeah, that's what it said on your
because the only other one I have is in the impact crater, which I haven't been to yet. So
that's what I tend to do that. I tend to always.
It's supposed to be the first one, but leave it to last, because it's just out of the way. You don't need to go there until the end of the game. So once I have the Phazon suit, then I'll be able to go. Let's see. Is there anything else? Because I have a checklist of the order I'm doing things. So,
and by the way, I was looking at my stream. My stream time was 4 hours and 15 minutes.
4 hours
minutes.
and 15 minutes. Okay.
Yeah.
And you did the whole speed run in that time.
Yep.
So I'm at the entrance of Phazon Mines. I have to go fight the Omega Pirate, get the Phazon suit, get that artifact, and then I can head to the end and I have to fight Meta Ridley, the Metroid Prime Exosuit, and then the Metroid Prime Essence. And I'm at 2.5 hours. So I think I should be good. So on my first speedrun attempt, I'm using the exact same route, not a different route than Dude mentioned, but like I said, I got the space jump boots early so I could sequence break, and it still took too long. But one of the
what's
reasons
funny is in my 2 speed runs, I didn't even use that exploit. I still did the original
which
way.
Blows my mind how you did that so fast.
I don't even know how I did it.
The one thing that really screwed me up on my first speedrun attempt is the video. I watched a video of someone beat it in like 2.5 hours, and I took notes. I've got my little checklist here. And
I gave you a checklist to go in order.
That was after I already made my first attempt. But I would have done it even if you'd given me your route first. I still would have done this first because I thought I was going to be faster. But the problem was that he was able to get one of the artifacts way earlier in the game than you're supposed to, and I tried doing it and I couldn't do it, and I thought there was something wrong, so I had to go back out of my way to go get that artifact, and it added like an extra 10 minutes onto my playtime, and then I ended up missing the end game time by 5 minutes when because I made my last save at my spaceship, and then I went into the impact crater, and I was at like 3 hours and 19 minutes. I think I had 11 minutes to beat Meta Ridley and both forms of Metroid Prime. And I was like, I doubt I'm going to be able to do this. And I wasn't. So
I had 25 minutes on my first run. So,
okay. So I'm not back to that point yet, but I'm close. I probably won't be doing it tonight, but I will absolutely be finishing up my playthrough this weekend at some point. And I think I'm on track to, now that so this time I was able to get that one artifact. I figured out how he did it, and I was able to get it the first time through. So I don't have to backtrack to that area, take 10 extra minutes and get it this time. So that 10 minutes would have made me be able to beat it the first time with 5 minutes left on the timer. So I don't have to go out of my way for that. I've made a couple other tweaks that cut off a few more minutes here and there. So I'm pretty sure I'm on track to do it.
I mean, you're at like 2 hours and 50 minutes at Omega Pirate. You should be good.
I'm pretty sure I'm gonna make it, but I'm definitely gonna be finishing this playthrough within the next couple days over this weekend for sure.
Definitely try to get that Omega Pirate one cycle run, because that'll make it faster.
So I'm pretty sure I'll be able to get this last achievement and get the mastery within the next day or two. And that was one of the things I knew I was running low on time on my first playthrough. And like I mentioned earlier, the Phazon, the Omega Pirate, there's an achievement for beating him without his armor regenerating, which you have to do. There's a special way to do it, and you got to be very precise about it. And so that'll shave off a few minutes of your time, because the very first time I ever beat him because one of the cool things in Dolphin is it has like a built-in timer. So there's leaderboards for how fast you can beat all the bosses, and you can rank yourself versus other people, which is really cool. And the first time I did it, it was like 10 minutes on the fight. And this was when I wasn't worrying about time. I was just playing through, getting 100% collection. I think my end game time was like 8 hours or something. With 100% completion on normal, my first playthrough, because I wasn't going for the speed run on my first playthrough like you were. And then when I went and did this achievement where you do it without him regenerating his armor, I did it in like 2.5 minutes. So I knew that was going to save me a lot of time. So on my first speedrun playthrough like a week ago, I made sure I did it that way. And I had to fight him like 8 or 9 times in order to be able to pull it off correctly and beat him without his armor regenerating, having to go through a whole another cycle. But I finally did it, and I was like, I need to shave off as much time as possible. And I still missed the timer.
You know, it's funny. You're actually beating me on the Parasite Queen.
That's one of the things I was going to bring up. So you go ahead and talk about Metroid Prime for a while, because one of the things I was going to do before the stream was go write down all of our leaderboard times, but I forgot to. So I'm going to go gather that.
I just pulled up the pages, because you're actually beating me by about 2 seconds for the Parasite Queen, but because you have to kill it so quickly to get the achievement, so many people have gotten really high up. So you're
one of
in
the
top
other
15.
ones that was really annoying was the on the tutorial level. Essentially, you have to escape after beating the Parasite Queen in under 4 minutes. That one took me probably about 5 or 6 attempts.
That one wasn't too bad. The Flagra fight. Looks like you're beating me on that one too. And that one's a little bit more time, but we weren't. That one wasn't as bad.
That one's not time intensive.
But there's like a 30-second difference between us.
That one you do have to beat without him flipping his mirrors back, but that one's not. You don't have to be as precise about the time.
Oh, and you beat the artist faster than I did too. So that was about 15. That was about 20 seconds.
Why don't you go ahead and tell us about? You've mastered it already.
I beat you on a Mega Pirate though.
Yeah. So tell us about your playthrough, your routes, your plan, what you did. And I'm gonna go write down some times and stuff.
I just went. Most of the routes I went, I mainly just went straight to the upgrades. I didn't really go too far off the path. Like in my very first playthrough, I only went off the path for a little bit if it was like a quick upgrade I could grab. But other than that, or an artifact. So I planned out my route so I didn't have to backtrack nearly as much. And I didn't even use I didn't even use the early space jump boots glitch.
Yeah,
so I ended up going back to the Talon Overworld for that. And if you grabbed the space jump boots early, you didn't have to leave Phendrana Drifts.
Yeah, because you're supposed to go to Phendrana Drifts, get the speed boost, then go back to the Talon Overworld, get the space jump boots, and then go back to Phendrana Drifts. So if you have the space jump boots early, which you can get as the very first item once you land on the planet, you can skip a bunch of stuff, which I did, and I still didn't make the time. So it baffles me how you did it so fast.
It's just that I'm just so used to this very controller.
Oh,
I'm used to this controller.
Yes. So
I am not used to playing Metroid Prime with this stick looking around.
Yeah, because that was one thing, because it is possible to play on Dolphin with basically dual stick controls like you have on the Metroid Prime Remaster. But and the reason why
that's blasphemous.
Is because Mark the Cyborg told me that he did it, and that was the first time he ever played Metroid Prime, was a few years ago. And he's like, after I figured out how to do it that way, it made it one of the best games like ever compared to
me, that's
the
blasphemous.
Garbage controls of the original. But the thing is that you have to have a special version of Dolphin Emulator in order to be able to do that, and you can't do achievements with that. So you have to.
It might not be the emulator. It might be it might be a different ROM. You might have to patch the ROM.
No, it's a special fork of Dolphin that you need. It's called the Prime Hack, Dolphin Prime Hack, or something like that. It is a special version, so the achievements don't work. So I was trying to figure out, because I booted up. I'm like, God, I'd so love to be able to play it like I did on the Prime Remastered with those controllers so much better. And he's like, oh yeah, you got to do it this way. But then I found out they're not compatible with retro achievements. So I was like, I gotta play it with the default.
But controls. I'm so used to the basic controls that it's not a problem to me.
Yeah. So one of the things that I found out about this controller, both in Metroid Prime and Rogue Leader, is, and I was like, it was baffling me. I'm like, why isn't this working? This controller's triggers are digital, not analog. Yeah. I did not know that. And I was like, why is it? Because what that means is that it has an on or off. It doesn't matter how far I push it, it's gonna activate. A 1 or a 0. Whereas analog, it can read.
It goes any number between 0 and 1.
Exactly, anywhere between 0 and 1, so it can read the pressure. So you can hold it lightly or hard.
Although I still need to figure out the exact dead zone and threshold for the triggers for Sunshine, because that one uses it way more than any other game.
Okay, well,
especially for the flood.
One of the other things that brought this up is in the training mission of Rogue Leader. It's trying to, it's a tutorial. It's teaching you the difference between hard braking and soft braking. You can't do them both with this controller because it doesn't recognize the difference. So that's where I found this out, and I had to go into the settings, and I had to set hard brake and soft brake to 2 different buttons in order to be able to complete that objective. Because GameCube controller doesn't have a left shoulder button, I just split it up into left trigger and left shoulder.
For left side, it's not so bad, but the Z button is kind of the shoulder button on the right side.
And then in Prime, because there's a difference like between light holding of the right trigger versus hard holding of the right trigger. Those are how Dolphin does it is those are 2 different button presses. It's just they're tied to the same button. But because
I don't usually use it that way though. I always use it just hard.
Typically don't, but it does come in handy sometimes. And with my controller, I can't do that because these aren't analog. So I had to set that to 2 different buttons. So I've been playing it a little bit different than I'm used to. So the other thing, the very first achievement trouble I ran into was in Metroid Prime. It was the achievement for getting the power bomb. It's story related and it didn't unlock. And it's because there's an achievement for, I think there's an achievement for getting 25% of items, 50% of items, 75% of items, and then 100% items. I got the power bomb as my 50% my 50% item as well. So I should have gotten both achievements, but the only one I got was the 50%. I did not get the achievement for the power bomb. So I messaged the dev and he's like, you want a manual unlock? I was like, I have to do a hard playthrough anyway, so I'll just get it on that one. And so he adjusted the logic to the game. And so on my hard playthrough, I also made sure that it was also my 50% achievement, because one of the nice things is that it gives you a counter. So anything that has like a 50 or 100%, it shows you how many items you need to get it. So for 50% of items in the game was like 49 items or something like that. I don't remember what it is, but it's got great achievement tracking. So you know exactly how many items you need for whatever the achievement is. So I made sure that on my hard playthrough, it was also my 50% item. And
my problem with that, since I'm on Linux, I can't change the size of the size of the text.
Oh, the text.
And it's so small tiny that I can barely see that I even unlock an achievement.
Bummer. But so I made sure that power bomb on my hard playthrough was also my 50% item. And when I got it, it unlocked that time. So the dev had to adjust the logic behind the achievement.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he also adjusted the logic for a lot of other achievements as well for that.
So
since it could happen on a lot of different upgrades.
So yeah, that and then I meant to. Fracture's already gone, I think, but he's saying, "Holy moly, you still got printouts from 2003?" Yes, I do, and he remembers Cheat CC as well. Heck yeah, but yeah,
I think I've been there once or twice, but I always use GameFAQs.
Yeah, I switched over to GameFAQs once they came around, but I think Cheat C was before GameFAQs, and then I switched over to GameFAQs once that was.
GameFAQs is still pretty good.
Yeah, it's great. So I'm gonna head out. I know you're probably not here anymore, Filter, but thanks for hanging out with us for a little while. But have a good night. But yeah, anything else that you want to tell us about your adventures in Metroid Prime?
Nope. If you want to go see how I played it, go watch my streams.
Okay, so
and watch Neo get mad.
Yeah,
especially in the last one.
I was watching him at the end of his. That was the other thing is they put in my opinion, the worst achievement in the set is that Space Jump Boots early sequence break, because
it's more of an exploit than anything else.
Yeah. So in order to do it, you have to go lock onto an enemy in a separate room and then back and stay locked on, so you can't see what's going on around you. You have to feel it out, and you have to do it such that it doesn't break the lock. And then you get on top of your ship and you do a side dash and then you let go. And if you do it right, you have enough momentum that you can land on this ledge that you're not supposed to get to till later in the game. And Dude was doing it on stream, and he did.
It took me a while.
But
and I had turned off the dual CPU mode, which was causing the slowdown.
Okay.
So that's the reason why you saw the frame rate drop a lot during my streams during this first two playthroughs. But the third playthrough, I turned it back on. I had heard somewhere on the Discord that turning it off I heard that originally whenever the achievements came out, that they weren't able to fix. They weren't able to get achievements working while in dual CPUs. So there was issues. But I guess it's working now. So.
Okay. But yeah, he did it. It took him a while, and I was trying to do it. And every time you break the lock or miss, you have to go walk back up to this room, open the door, lock onto the enemy, and then go back and do it again. And it's a pain in the butt. And I was trying to do it for hours, and I couldn't get it. Dude did it. And
it
I
took
was
me
watching
about 30
his
minutes.
stream. I spent hours trying to figure it out and couldn't do it. And then like I was raging on the achievement comments saying like, this is like ridiculous. This shouldn't even be in the base set. Fortunately, like a day or two later, they added because up until this point, only the 1.2 version of the game was usable for the achievements. They added the 1.0 version of the game to be able to be played for the achievements as well, which was a game changer because the biggest difference is in the 1.0 version, you didn't have to have an enemy to lock on to. You just had something that an item in your scan visor that you could scan. And so that means you don't have to go run back up every time you break it. You can just get back up onto your ship because there's something that's in the room that you can scan that's much closer. And so once that was added, it still took me like an hour or two to get it. But once I got it, I've been able to do it probably 5 or 6 times now. But that was another thing. That achievement did not work the first time I got it with the 1.0 version of the game. I got it and the achievement didn't unlock. So I messaged the dev and he had to go and look at the achievement logic and he didn't update the logic. It was still only looking at the 1.2 version of the game. He updated to 1.0. I did the achievement again, probably like the 6th time at this time, and then the achievement unlocked. So if it wasn't for that, I probably still wouldn't have the achievement if you still had to do it on the 1.2 version of the game where you don't have what's called the scan dash. So that achievement I was not happy about. But the Metroid Prime 2 does not have achievements yet, but someone is working on it, and the expiration date is like the 1st or 2nd of September. So we should be getting an achievement set for Metroid Prime 2 very soon, and I will be hopping on that as soon as it's available because I love that game too, and I'm very much looking forward to playing it again.
Definitely.
So, anything else about Prime? I'm looking through. I meant to do this before.
Nope. I beat you in the race whenever I wasn't even trying to race you.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I was watching you on your stream, both on when you were doing getting that achievement for the space jump boots, and also at the end of your speed run, and I was raging in chat.
It wasn't even the speed run; it was me trying to get the boss achievements in that run.
Is that right?
Yeah, I remember I had done the speed run on the first night.
Oh yeah, that's
so.
Right.
The last night it was just me going back and doing the boss achievement.
Oh, that's right. I was trying to beat it because that was your last achievement, right? The space jump boots.
No, my last achievement was the beat Metroid Prime's essence.
Oh,
in certain amount of phases. Pools? Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. So I was trying to I was working on my speed run while you were working on that. And I was trying to get my speed run done and master the game before you mastered it, but I wasn't able to pull it off.
You still haven't pulled it off.
I still haven't, but I will. I should have it within the next couple days. So
you better have it before the next achievement chasers.
Absolutely, I definitely will. So I'm trying to pull up the.
If you don't, you better not wear that shirt.
Yeah, my achievement unlocked shirt. Let's see here. So if you have anything that you want to talk about here for a minute, while I gather a bit more numbers here, because I want to kind of go over the leaderboards.
Gotcha.
On Metroid Prime. So if you have anything that you just want to talk about, it doesn't have to be about anything in particular. Go ahead.
Well, I could talk about next games I'll work on.
Yeah, go ahead. Start us off with what you want to work on in August.
After I'm done with Sunshine on stream, I'll be working on Zelda Twilight Princess.
Okay,
and I know that's one of the triple point games too.
Yeah, so. It is a triple point game,
and it looks like I might have to play through it twice.
I'm very much looking forward to play it again.
Because I'll do a 100% run and then I'll do a 3-heart run.
Okay, I'm not planning on doing the completion, the mastery for that one, but I am gonna probably get as much as possible. But yeah, that's my number 2 Zelda game. I'm very much looking forward to playing it.
It's my number 1, so.
Yep, it was your number 1.
Go back to watch top 5. and watch K beat C then Cope that I didn't even put Wind Waker in my top 5.
It's not in my top 5 either, but I will be doing that one now that it has retro achievements as well.
I'll do that one too. Still, it's my number 6. It's just not top 5 material for me.
Yeah, it wasn't top 5. It's not bad. I just don't care for it. But I only played it once on GameCube, so it'll be.
And also, Four Swords Adventures got achievements too. So
it did. I've never played
that one. That one looks way easier because it's just it's actually a level based game, so you can go back and replay the levels.
Do you need other people to play that one?
Nope, or you can play single player.
Okay, I may give that one a shot because I always wanted to try that one, but I never did.
It's fun. It's a fun game. It's been a while since I played it though. I only played through it the once, and it was good. It's not amazing. Of course, it's designed around multiplayer, so.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm definitely gonna be doing Wind Waker at some point as well, giving it another shot since I was not a big fan of it, but I'll be playing it again. So
I think I'll do Wind Waker on stream after Twilight Princess.
Nice.
So, just to make Kay happy.
I
have to play the better one first. Playing? But outside of that, I might just do Pokemon Channel just for another quick completion, because that's literally just watching videos. It's a very simple game, and maybe Mario Party 4 after that.
Mario Party 4.
And I'll probably do the sequel to that the Naruto fighting game as well.
Okay.
Because from what I've heard when I read about the comments, it's actually not as hard as the other one. Just has a little bit more grinding. And you've seen me with Dynasty Warriors. I'm used to grinding.
Yes. Let's see here. Where do you go? 45? Yes. Almost done here. So, all right. Anything else that you're planning on doing in August?
Nope. Because if I finish those games up, I don't know what I'm going to be working on yet.
Okay. So
I just know I'll be working on more GameCube.
Last thing before I wrap up with what I'm planning on doing in August. I went and gathered all of our normal difficulty leaderboard times. I just wanted to go over those. So for the escape from at the end of the tutorial level, you get, what is it? I think you start with like 7 minutes, and you have to escape with at least 4 minutes left on the clock. So you basically have 3 minutes to escape. That one took me like 5 or 6 attempts, but I finally got that one. And it's cool because the Dolphin emulator's got the timer and the leaderboard's built in. So I am 17th on that leaderboard with 4 minutes and 4 seconds on the clock. And you were at 49th with 4 minutes and 1 second. So I beat you by 3 seconds.
I had 1 second left for the achievement. I was like, I'm done. That's it. I like how the person who's in 42nd place has Captain Keys as his avatar. Nice. Like the original Captain Keys.
Yeah, from
Halo 1
or the original Xbox Halo. So I should have put these in the other order because that actually takes place after the Queen, but Escape is the first one that shows up in the leaderboard.
The only thing I didn't like about these leaderboards is they didn't put an achievement for any percent versus 100%.
Oh, that's true. I was thinking about that. That would have been cool too. But it does already have a subset for doing minimalist runs and beating the game with like 28% or something ridiculous. So for beating the Parasite Queen in the tutorial level, there's, like I said, there's an achievement for beating her before she fires her acid breath, which you have like 15 seconds probably at most to kill her before she uses that. I am 15th on that leaderboard with 9.1 seconds, and you are 55th with 11.8 seconds. So
yeah, because of the achievement, a lot more people have gotten a
lot of people have that one in very short periods of time. So even though we're only 2 seconds apart, we're separated by quite a bit.
And you're tied with like one other person.
Oh, am I?
Yep.
So for the first boss, main boss outside the tutorial is Flagra, and I'm 19th with a time of 2 minutes 47 seconds. You are 38 with a time of 3 minutes and 12 seconds. Thardis, which is the Phendrana Drift's boss. I'm 11th with 3 minutes and 45 seconds. You're 19th with 4 minutes and 9 seconds. The Omega Pirate, I'm 12th with 1:23. That's the one where it took me like almost 10 minutes to beat the first time. And then once I figured out how to do it.
No, I'm 1:23.
Oh, sorry. I forgot to write your name down. on that one. Yes, you are 12th.
You were so used to yourself being in first.
Yes, I appreciate the correction. So you are 12th with 1:23. I am 17th with 1:24. So I'm only 1 second behind you on that one. But that's the one where it took me almost 10 minutes the first time until I figured out how to. First off, I didn't realize how much damage the super missile does when he's in his damage phase. I was just doing plasma beam the whole time, and it took me like 3 cycles through his armor to defeat him. And then once I watched the video and saw like the method you're supposed to use in order to beat him so fast, I'm like, oh, and it's shaved off 8 minutes on my time. The exoskeleton of Metroid Prime, I'm in 10th.
You skipped over
I skipped Meta Ridley. How did I do that?
I beat you by a lot in that one.
Yeah, you definitely beat me on that one
by a minute.
Yeah, you got me destroyed on that one. So
did you use the boost ball technique?
I don't even know about the boost ball technique.
If before he loses his wings, he just does the stomp attack to try and hit you, and he's on the ground. If you use the boost ball, it actually removes his wings and forces him into that second phase.
I did not know that. Okay, I'm going to use that when I get to Meta Ridley again. If I would have known that, I might have been able to shave the. That probably wouldn't have been enough to shave 5 minutes off the time.
It might have been because of how much time he spends flying around.
Yeah, that flying around is such a pain because he does it all the time, and you have to wait like a minute for him to come back and before you do damage again. That could have saved me enough time to get the 5 minutes, shave the 5 minutes off and make the time, but I deleted that save and reused it, so I couldn't even give it another attempt. So, Meta Ridley, you are 5th on that leaderboard with a time of 2 minutes and 2 seconds, and I'm 14th with a time of 3 minutes and 12 seconds.
And part of the reason why I did that third run to get all the boss achievements, and I did that as 100% runs, because just so I could go to Meta Ridley and just use the Wave Buster on him.
Yeah, I had never even thought about doing that, but I'm like, that makes a lot of sense because you have such a tiny little fraction of time to do damage to stun him. That makes perfect sense. That's the method I use on my speed run, but because I skipped so many upgrades, I didn't have enough missiles to be able to pull it off and kill him before I ran out of missiles. So that added a few extra minutes to my time as well. So I'm just going to write this down. 2:02, and then I was 14.
Then Metroid Prime Exoskeleton
with 3:12. So so Metroid Prime Exoskeleton, I'm 10th with a time of 4 minutes and 17 seconds, and you're 30th with a time of 4 minutes and 53 seconds. And then the final phase of his Essence, I was 28th with a time of 2 minutes and 25 seconds, and you're 45th with a time of 2 minutes and 56 seconds. So
not much difference. But then whenever you go into this Prime for Speed, which is the beat the game.
Yeah, I may be able to reduce some of my times on Meta Ridley, Exoskeleton, and the Essence here, and Omega Pirate as well. So since I still have to go through those again, we'll see. But yeah. All right. So last thing on Xbox, I've been getting an achievement a day to keep the streak going, but I've been playing very little Xbox. But I did just start last night because there's another game I'm going to be panic playing before it leaves Game Pass on the 15th. It's like a 8 to 10 hour completion, so it's pretty short.
I don't like panic playing. That's why I don't pay for Game Pass.
I only do it for short games. Longer ones, I'll either start sooner or I'll buy it after it leaves Game Pass when it goes.
I think the only time I ever panic play a game is whenever it has multiplayer servers and multiplayer achievements.
That makes sense. But
at least with those, you can just grind them. You can just grind them out with people.
Yeah. So the game I started last night and I'm going to be panic playing is Shadow Warrior 3. It looks like it's got a very similar combat to Doom Eternal.
I think Paul was playing it on a roulette that he was doing, and he was hating on it.
Interesting. Okay. It looks like a lot of fun. It looks very wacky. Got crazy, he's got swords and crazy guns. So it looks like a lot of fun. It's not terribly long. It's not terribly difficult. So I'm going to be panic playing that. And then I've got a bunch of games that I'm going to be doing for GameCube now that there's achievements. So what I was referencing earlier is I had an idea the other day, and it would be Yeah, I wanted to invite you to join me, or anyone else who's going to be doing GameCube retro achievements, but you're the main person who's into achievements. But I'm going to be doing a retro achievements GameCube bean dive. So
have fun with it.
Yeah, okay. I was like, I want to ask you to join me, but he probably won't.
I don't. I prefer completions than just random achievements.
Well, a bean dive in all the GameCube games that you're planning on mastering. So instead of playing through to completion, then starting another one and completing that, just get the first achievement in each one you're planning to master, and then go back and play through them each to put them on your account, essentially. So, because right now, I only have like 309 retro achievements, and like I said earlier, Smash Brothers Melee has like 330 achievements. That single game has more achievements in it than I even have on my account so far. So when I start Smash Melee, it's gonna drop me from my my current percentage is like 80. I have to go see more. I'm at 86% right now. So if I was to start Smash Melee, it would drop me to like 48%.
I'm at 76.
So
of average completion.
Yeah, average completion. So once I finish getting all the achievements I'm planning on getting in Metroid Prime, Rogue Leader, and Star Fox Assault, and I'm like, all right, I'm good for now, and I'm gonna put whatever I haven't done, I'm gonna put on the back burner. I'm gonna move on to other games. I'm gonna do a retro achievements GameCube bean dive, and I'm gonna get an achievement in all of the GameCube games I'm planning on playing, and it's gonna crash my completion probably down to like, I bet it's gonna be less than 10%. So let me pull up what those are. So the games I'm gonna be playing on GameCube. I'm going to be bean diving them. If I could, this is why I wish I could organize them by platform rather than by alphabetical. But Wind Waker, Twilight Princess. I'm looking at them in alphabetical order here. I'd never played this one, but someone talked me into it. I don't remember who it was, but someone was telling me about it. I think it was Winter Prince, Mega Man Network Transmission. It looks like a fairly short completion, so I was like, I'll give it a shot. I never played that one, so Mega Man Network.
I do actually own that one physically.
Okay, Mega Man Network Transmission, the Mega Man X Collection, which has 407 achievements. Let's see here. Metroid Prime 2, because I bet you those achievements are going to be coming out very soon. It's just not live yet. PN03 product number 3 looks like I forgot this game existed, but it is one of the games I think is worth double points. And I remember when this game came out, and I'm like, that game looks cool, and I never got around to playing it. But it's basically like one of the early third-person shooters. It looks very Vanquish-esque, so I'm looking forward to giving that one a shot. That one looks pretty cool, and it's worth double points, so that's a bonus. Let's see here. Star Fox Assault, I'm already playing. Jedi Outcast, one of my favorite Star Wars games of all time. That was my number one. Jedi Outcast and Jedi Academy are tied because they're essentially the same game. They're built on the same engine. And that has 213 achievements. But I very much looking forward to playing that because that's one of my favorite. That is my favorite Star Wars game. Rogue Leader, I've already started that one. Thanks to Carl, who recommended Star Wars The Clone Wars. I didn't even know that game existed. It's basically a vehicular combat game. It's by Pandemic. I watched a video on it recently. I'm like, this game looks really good. And so I'm going to be playing that one.
You know what's funny? I've had it on Xbox since I've had my Xbox, yet I've barely played it.
Smash Brothers Melee, I'm going to be playing that one, of course. That one has 336 achievements. And then one of the other games that I have, it was the 2 games I got on GameCube launch. I got this day one. This was a launch title. And then Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 was also a launch title. Those are the 2 games I got on GameCube's launch day. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 does not have an achievement set, but Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4 does. I'm mad about that.
Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 has achievement set on PS2, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it does on PS2, but not on GameCube. It's like, why does Tony Hawk 4 have it, but not 3? So I'm hoping someone will make a set for 3. But if they don't, I'll just play it on PS2. But I never played Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4, but I'll probably give Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4 a shot as well.
4 is actually the first time they actually try to do the open world type thing.
I remember you telling me about that.
And it's actually what they did until they went to shred that shred one where they had the board.
Yeah, I have that game, and I've not played it, and I could go check my achievements. But I think the last time I got an achievement, it was like 2013.
So. I would say Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4, Underground 2, and American Wasteland are all great games. And American Wasteland is even on Xbox 360, so.
That's when I played it. I played American Wasteland, and I completed it. I got all the achievements. I didn't think it was that good. I've heard Underground 1 and 2 were good, but I never played those ones.
Yeah. And Underground 2 already have achievement sets on PS2, so.
Yeah, lots of PS2 games have them since it's been. How long has PS2 been on retro achievements?
About a year or two.
Okay.
I'd have to look.
A couple of years.
It's been a while.
So, but yeah, I think I mentioned Rogue Leader or Rebel Strike has an achievement set that's pending. Metroid Prime 2 has an achievement set that's pending. They're just not out yet. And I think those are the only ones that I know have.
It'll be 2 years in October.
The other game.
PS2 will be out for 2 years in October.
Okay, so it's almost at its 2-year mark. The other one also has an achievement set pending that's not live yet, but once it does, I'll be playing it as well. We mentioned it earlier, is Star Fox Adventures. I never played that one, always wanted to, so I'll be giving that one a first-time play. So, yeah, I'm going to be doing a bean dive and get one achievement in each one of those, and then I don't know what order I'm going to play them, but I'm going to be playing those. So I was going to say, I invite you to do the same and just pop an achievement in each of the GameCube games you're planning on playing, and then going back and playing them in whatever order
I'm just gonna play them as I play them. I'm not gonna unlock an achievement.
Okay.
Because some of them will take a while for you to get the achievement. It's like I want to play it for the story too. So.
Okay, but that's what I'm going to do. Coming up here quite soon, like I said, after I kind of get to the completion that I want on. I'm going to master.
What's crazy is I just looked at the achievement list for Clone Wars. I might actually do that one because it seems like the hardest thing is just beat the game on hardest difficulty.
Yeah, it doesn't look like a very difficult achievement set either. So, but I'm going to master Prime. I'm probably going to master Star Fox Assault. I got 5 more levels, and then that like survival mode, and then
I'm going to pick at Rogue Leader.
I'll get a couple more achievements in Rogue Leader, and then I'm going to do my GameCube bean dive and dive all these games I'm planning on playing. And I'm hoping some of those games that don't have achievements yet will have them by the time I get to it. But I'll just add them in once they do. So I don't know what order I'm going to be playing them, but I've got a lot more GameCube that I'm looking forward to playing because, yeah, and older stuff, but I won't be getting to that until later because I'm trying to get at least the bronze medal. I might try to get the silver, especially if some more of these games do get achievement sets, then I probably will. Because right now, I've created a spreadsheet and I'm at like 18 points. Not that I've gotten yet, but playing all the games that I'm planning on playing and mastering, I'm at 18 points. So if a couple more games that I want to play get achievement sets, then I'll probably be able to do the silver medal before the 4 months is up. So, but yeah, that about does it. And I have 10 minutes before I have Nerdporial coming on. So this is perfect timing. So, dude, anything that you want to shout out, plug before we go?
Nope. I'm going to be on the Melee Games Community Night tonight.
Oh, that's right.
About waifus.
Yes. So. Melee Town Square is tonight about gaming waifus. So that'll be fun. I will probably dip in for a little bit, but probably not for very long. And that'll be
I'm actually going to need to grab dinner before that starts.
Yeah, I got another stream here in 10 minutes. Nerdporial's coming on. We're having an open mic, and then after that, I'll probably hop into Town Square for a little bit.
But tomorrow night I will be continuing my Sunshine run, and then of course Sunday we'll be doing our next Halo run, hopefully.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you is when you're doing your next achievement stream. So, cool. So yeah, I will be back live here in 10 minutes with Nerdporial for an open mic, and then, like I said, after that I'll probably dip into Melee Town Square for a little bit. And then I'm planning on playing some Mass Effect tonight with my buddy, Rozik. And if anyone is out there wants to join us, I'm not going to be streaming that. But if you want to come hang out and play Mass Effect with me, you're welcome to. So tomorrow morning, normally Party Chat is at 11:30 a.m. Pacific. Tomorrow it's going to be at 10 a.m. Pacific. And I've got Melee James, got BDJ.
Why are you making it earlier for the guy on the West Coast?
And Mo Zamboni, and he's actually.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're also on West Coast, so
I'm West Coast as well. So Mo
Zamboni. I'm still thinking like 10 a.m. my time.
No, it'll be
7 for you.
Yeah, no, it's 10 a.m. my time, 1 o'clock your time. So it's moved up a little bit. And Mo Zamboni is also going to be one of the guest hosts. And Ryan said he might be able to make it tomorrow, so I sent him the link. I'm not sure if he'll be able to join, but he's got the link if he wants to join. But yeah, and Mozamboni, I've been wanting to get him on for a while, and he mentioned it on Off the Hip on Monday. He's like, yeah, every time Neo reaches out to me, I'm like busy with something. It's like, I swear he's watching me. He's just waiting until I'm busy to ask me. But he's finally, he's like, yeah, I can come hang out for an hour or so. So that'll be fun. And then, yeah, Sunday morning, we haven't talked to Paul, but we should be good. Assuming it's good with him, we should be doing Halo Reach on Sunday morning. So,
well, usually Bliss is open. So,
yeah, this should, Bliss and Paul and us, we should be doing Halo Reach. So that'll be Sunday morning. All right. With that, I'm going to go take a quick break before my next stream starts here in just a couple minutes. So always good hanging out with you, dude.
And I'm going to grab food before I talk about boobs.
So you have a great night, and I will talk to you later. And thanks everyone who came and hung out and chat tonight, whether it was for 5 seconds or the whole stream. Appreciate it. You all have a great Friday night. We'll talk to you later, everyone. In the meantime, game on.